One day in the future, portals opened between the real and game worlds. Some people's bodies were changed and they became players. Using the power granted by the system, people began to greedily plunder the resources of the dungeons. At this time, a dungeon of the Abyss level appeared, the ruler of which was Adhilasai, an immortal prince of darkness, against whom people were powerless. A powerful squad was assembled to launch a military expedition against him and capture the dungeons, aiming to destroy the boss at once. But the level of the Prince of Darkness was unknown to them. The turning point came when the two armies clashed with each other. "Destroy," Adhilasai commanded. "Everyone without exception," he added. Then a serious battle between people and demons began. The Prince of Darkness also took part in it. Killing people was not something he considered too difficult. "The ranks of the light side warriors have become quite empty. Weaklings, you can't even withstand a blow," Adhilasai said. Suddenly something caught his attention. Several projectiles were fired at him, which he deflected without any problems. "And you came to meet your death?" asked the prince. "Ordinary players are no match for you," declared the hero with a halo on his head. "Get ready to get what you deserve," he added. "Get out of my sight, righteous one." The King of Darkness was angry. After his words, he left the place where he stood, and he began to fight with the hero not for life, but to the death. In order to confuse the enemy, he performed beautiful pirouettes in the air. Then, having guessed the moment, he appeared in front of the warrior of the light side. He even got scared from the surprise, and he tried to clumsily dodge the blow while the prince was about to attack with his sword. A second later, one of them was brought down from heaven to earth. This was a warrior of the light side. He wants to howl from the pain he received. The King of Darkness landed after him. "Nothing," Adhilasai hissed. Then he swung his main weapon. The hero's face was lost. "Surrender if you value your life, prince," came from a small mountain. "What?" said the King of Darkness. "His people were taken prisoner. If you don't stop, I'll kill every one of them," the red-haired comrade of the cornered warrior said. The prince was distracted and suffered a serious blow. This attack made his mouth bleed. "And you spoke of this justice when you took my people captive." Adhilasai was indignant. "We just use all our strength," the hero replied. "They decided to laugh at me." The King of Darkness was angry. The transformation of the enemy did not bode well for the warrior of the light side. "I'm taking you with me to the next world," said the prince. A bright red flash illuminated the battlefield. Then there was a huge explosion, after which there was a large crater on the battlefield. The raid on the boss ended with his death. It seemed that everything had calmed down since then. But the story of the Prince of Darkness did not end. 10 years have passed since then. "Maintain formation and don't disperse," the archer ordered. "We definitely need to get to the dungeon." Her comrades supported her. At that moment, something caught the attention of the warrior in armor. He only managed to open his mouth in fear. How a huge tree felling crushed him, leaving nothing behind. "Be careful, it's Stitch," came from the small army. A huge monster appeared before the warriors with a stick that had once been a growing tree. As soon as he swung, the people scattered. Someone did not manage to escape death. The huge creature managed to make its move. "We just arrived in the dungeon, and so many people have already died," thought the maiden. "Hey, bunch of loafers, go fight," she ordered the young men who looked vaguely like combat-ready warriors. "Our task is to collect resources," said the bravest of them. "Shut your mouths. Who do you think brought you here?" the fighter intervened. "Damn, they want to use us as bait," the black-haired man thought. The reward for defeating the elite monster was high, but no one knew how to defeat it. "By sacrificing the lives of these worthless ones, we will be able to preserve the strength of good warriors," the archer reasoned. For Xiao Xiao's sake, the black-haired man wanted to come back alive. He also read about Stitch in the reference book. If you hit a weak spot, the enemy will be defeated. Finding one for the guy wasn't particularly difficult. "Xiao Xiao, you'll see. I'll come back home alive," said the young man. But suddenly an arrow appeared. It hit the guy right in the vital organ. "The bastard blocked my view," the archer said. "How can this be? I can't die," thought the black-haired man, for he made a promise to the most important person in his life, his sister. But the monster didn't care. He mercilessly hit the place where the guy was lying with a log. A moment later, blood was dripping from the weapon. The young man's fingers already looked lifeless. Something blue appeared in the sky, resembling a soul. This substance entered the black-haired man. The warriors did not understand what kind of unknown force took part in the battle. The boy's heart began to beat again. "What the hell is going on there?" said the archer. The guy suddenly rose from the dead. "He survived my blow, what a bastard," thought the maiden. "The soul's rebirth took a little while," the young man said. Then the black-haired man turned his gaze to the side. He glared at the huge bastard who crushed him with a log, then swinging his sword, dealt a critical hit to a monster's vulnerable spot. For this, the guy received 2,000 experience points and reached level 5. The little fish dared to attack me, the young man wondered. The other warriors couldn't believe how the newcomer managed to kill such a creature in one blow. "Damn, he definitely cheated and took my experience," the archer was angry. So, the higher my level, the better I am, thought the reincarnated one. An interesting system. I'll have to study it later, the guy continued. The program then reported that the boss's identity had been recognized. The Demon King returned at that very moment. A skeleton in a robe appeared before the warriors. He began to create black magic in his hand. A moment later, the warrior in armor was killed. His comrade stood waiting for some miracle. But immediately, thanks to the strength of the young man, the enemy was defeated. He didn't get any experience for killing monsters. But they gave conquest points, which could be used to open new rights. Now only the conqueror's gaze was open, allowing one to see the enemy's level and class. He was going to kill the players, but he didn't know how the system would react to it. The archer was level 20. She would have been too much for him. "Captain, here is your potion, take it," said the young man. This was his plan, because as soon as he accumulated enough points, he would get rid of her. The girl wondered where the black-haired man got such strength from, and was going to test his strength during the battle with the boss. Suddenly, a blue flame appeared on the battlefield. One of the warriors noticed it and started yelling about where it came from. "Ah, so that's who the boss of this dungeon is," said the young man. The fire only grew stronger. A bony face emerged from the flame. It was a huge level 20 dragon with white and red coloring. "Don't panic, we can handle it," the archer commanded. The young man could think of nothing better to do than run away. "As soon as I kill the creature, I'll take care of you," the huntress shouted after him. The dragon decided not to hesitate and released a blue flame from his mouth. The warriors took a defensive stance and began to defend themselves. At this time, long-range warriors, magicians, and archers went on the attack. But it seemed that all these blows had no effect on the monster. "So, he has already switched to the form with the heart. My exit is coming soon," the black-haired man thought. "While his heart is exposed, kill him," the warrior cried. Suddenly his body became covered with a purple glow. In an instant, both he and his comrades were incinerated by this new kind of flame. "We attack from afar, the mages and archers haven't calmed down." But there was a special shield around the creature that prevented long-range attacks from passing through. This phenomenon greatly surprised the archer. "Damn, I can't even get close to him in close combat," she thought. "It's my time to have some fun," said the black-haired man. He ran straight towards the dragon, not fearing death. "You're a moron. You're going to die," the huntress intervened. But the creature's heart was already very close to the young man. A few precise swings of the blade, and the victory was achieved, which the maiden was clearly jealous of. Although it was exposed at the second stage, but this was just bait for idiots. During the first stage, the dragon breathes fire, applying a continuously accumulating effect to enemies. On the second, the heart releases a different type of fire that sets infected enemies on fire. This is why you can't approach it at the first stage. Knowing this pattern, defeating this creature will not be particularly difficult. After a precise blow from the young man, the creature let out a death rattle. In his past life, he killed several of them. The guy got 100 points and could open a new right. He was offered to unlock the dungeon bindings, he agreed. After this, a huge number of hidden abilities appeared before his eyes. But before the black-haired man had time to study them, fireballs flew towards him. A second later, an explosion occurred at this location. "Take that. You're too inexperienced to compete with me," the archer said. The boss was defeated. Now it was necessary to open the secret dungeon. The huntress's warriors began to kill the weaker fighters. So they sacrificed them. The poor fellows begged to be let go, but the haughty maiden didn't care. A moment later, she pierced the head of one of the warriors with her arrow. "Damn, why hasn't it opened yet? Haven't we killed enough people?" she thought. A familiar shadow appeared behind one of the fighters. It was the black-haired one. He began to destroy the hunter's warriors. She noticed it too late. For killing players, the young man received points in this case. He earned 800. Then, in confusion over what had happened, the maiden, thanks to her skill, was going to find out the level of the unknown. The reincarnated one had a 5th. So she assumed that the black-haired one had simply honed his fighting skills. "Don't be afraid, kill him," the girl ordered her people. A 10th-level warrior, Lu Ren, was already running towards the young man. The guy put his hand forward and began to create magic. A moment later, a small flash of lightning flashed through the air. It was directed into the warrior's body. This technique left him unable to move. "How can a warrior use spells?" he thought as the black-haired man cut him with the blade. "So his real class is a magician," the fighter reasoned. Then he tried to attack with his axe. But the reborn one grabbed it by the tip without fear. Why did he stop my attack with one hand? The bastard wondered. Then the boy's blade entered the battle. For killing such a strong opponent, the young man received 1,000 points. What kind of class is he that he defeated a 10th-level warrior? The girl wondered. The points received were enough for a new ability. Then an idea came to her mind to attack everyone at once. 2 warriors in armor should have been enough, so she thought. After the dungeon was bound, the black-haired one received a lot of passive skills. It was also possible to spend Conqueror points to learn a dungeon monster's special ability. The binding cost him 200 Conqueror points. Without thinking twice, the young man unlocked Sanders' ability for 50 points. But there were more opponents than necessary, so he continued to think about what to do. "Die, Joe King!" The huntress suddenly intervened, firing her bow. This arrow hit the black-haired man in the shoulder. The blow knocked him off his feet. Then, suddenly standing up on his feet, the guy went into a defensive position. "Minus the hand. Let's see how you fight now," said the maiden. "I won't need them," the young man blurted out. A moment later, one of the archer's confidants lost his head. Something terrible began to appear before their eyes. "I've seen this spell before," one of the warriors yelled. "Stop! Is it really him?" the fighter added in a trembling voice. A skeleton mage and his retinue appeared before their eyes. A huge monster armed with a club began to move towards the huntress. Why was Stitch here too, she wondered. The creatures began to act in a coordinated manner. It was as if someone was controlling them. They all crowded around Joaquin. The young man didn't think that he would be able to summon and subjugate the creatures of this dungeon. "You bastard, where did you get such an ability?" The huntress was angry. Then she took out some kind of artifact that could only be used once. Virgo wanted to use it at the end to deal with the boss. But she didn't really have a choice. What kind of whistle is that in her teeth, the guy wondered. Suddenly some sounds began to come from the forest. It was a horde of ferocious beasts that heard the ringing. The distance between them and the dead was rapidly decreasing. Bears and boars did not spare either skeletons or zombies. The maiden used the epic item she received from the chairman. "Your monster will be no match for my beasts," she screamed. "You think I have no more aces up my sleeve?" the young man snapped. At that very moment, a huge shadow loomed over the archer. It was a huge monster, which they had already encountered on the battlefield. The creature hastened to show off its massive bony legs. After this, a huge dragon appeared behind the black-haired man, which he had destroyed not long ago. "Even the boss obeyed him," said the girl who had lost faith. "Kill me and forget about staying alive," she blurted out. "Explain in more detail," the guy blurted out. "We came to capture this dungeon on the orders of the chairman of the Bloodline Guild, Stoker. His goal is to obtain high-class equipment," the maiden explained. "I don't care if he gets in my way, he'll die," said the young man. "There will always be someone better. Don't forget," the maiden blurted out. "What a pity. Those were your last words," the black-haired man clarified. The archer's face turned blue. The dragon in its mouth began to charge the attack. For killing her, the guy was given 5,000 points. Suddenly, the ground beneath the young man began to move apart. The required number of players was reached and sacrificed, and the secret dungeon opened. "Wow, that means there's some good equipment hidden there," the guy thought. After the black-haired man approached him, he was shown that there was a high level of danger here. "I am the most dangerous creature here," he screamed. After the black-haired man opened his equipment, his breastplate seemed too weak to him. "I'd better change my gear before I go in," he added. Players always collect items after a kill. It was his turn. Then he commanded his dead to take all the artifacts from the corpses. In a moment, all the bodies on the battlefield were completely naked. The dead were furiously jubilant that they had managed to please their leader. The system had a transformation function, so no one would guess that it was he who killed those people. It also provided a storage area where one could store unnecessary items. "Now I'm ready to go in there," said the black-haired man. The fear of visiting this place was still present. But there was nowhere to go. He stepped through the gate. Then the guy found himself in a huge hall, where several columns appeared before him. "A familiar castle? Have I really been here before?" he thought. At that time, all of his possessions were converted into what players call dungeons. The monsters that lived there also belonged to him. But now the call could not be used here. One of the statues suddenly opened its eyes, and she grabbed her axe more comfortably. Both stone guardians, each level 40, appeared before the guy. He expected nothing less from them. But suddenly, the main door in the hall opened. The warriors meanwhile fell to their knees. In this way they expressed their submission. "They invite you in. Suddenly there's a trap inside," the black-haired man thought. "It doesn't matter. The strongest survive." When was the last time Adilasai felt fear? The guy reasoned. The most important thing for him now was to capture this place and get equipment. But the fact that the gatekeepers were level 40 worried him a little. Someone's eyes appeared in one of the crevices. A moment later, red evil demons appeared on the field. The young man even fell down in surprise. "Fear, little human, you will become our food," the creatures screamed. You are all undead," the guy asked them. "Don't forget that I'm an expert in dealing with your race," the black-haired man reminded them. The creatures looked at him questioningly. Then, without a second's hesitation, the young man used a skill that dealt 100% more damage to such monsters. Now spiders have also joined the fight. One of those spits hit the guy right on the head. To counter them, he used magic from his hand. In a moment, the creatures were electrified. For killing them, he was given 5 points. It was a good warm-up, the young man blurted out. It seemed to him that it would be more difficult here than now. With the conqueror points he received, he could learn several abilities. The first of these was the fireball. I'll definitely take it, said the young man. When he reached the boss's room, he became curious about how strong he was, slowly opening the door. In front of him, the young man saw a huge pentagram on the floor. Then it began to dawn on him. Blood was needed to awaken the boss. There was nothing left to do but obey these rules. I didn't really want it, but maybe I'll get lucky, said the young man. Bloody threads began to appear from the floor. Then the boss's hand appeared. Without a doubt, the black-haired man reasoned. Now he had no chance of defeating her. Selena, a level 40 vampire. Dirty little human! How dare you break the seal with your dirty blood? The vampiress was indignant. The young man did not stand on ceremony and immediately released a fireball at her. He hoped that this magic would cause at least some damage to her. In this way, the guy was going to find out what the difference was between him and the evil spirits of such a high level. Shadows of the boss began to appear from the resulting flame. It's no use trying to hurt me with such force, she said. Then her face changed and became more aggressive. The maiden whirled in a frightening dance, and she moved right behind the guy's back. He managed to sense her approach, but it was too late because she attacked. The blow was so strong that the black-haired man broke through the front door with his back, and after that he continued to be in free fall. Gathering his strength, he managed to land on his feet. Afterwards, he coughed up the accumulated blood. He realized that the difference between them was very big. The vampire's further actions were not long in coming. She instantly moved towards the young man, and dealt another critical blow. The reincarnated one tried to fight off her attack with his sword, but the maiden put all her strength and power into this blow. From such pressure, the guy's blade cracked in half. The resulting shockwave threw him aside. He landed with his body on a pile of rocks. "Now I can't wait to taste your blood," said the vampiress. These words made the guy smile slightly. "You will pay for your crime," she added. But something was wrong with this blood. As soon as the drop hit her tongue, she immediately pulled away from the young man. During the feasts, they could see the memories of those whose blood they tasted. The maiden realized who stood before her. "Mr. Adilasai, it's you!" she screamed. "So you have come to free me," the maiden repeated. The guy was irritated by this, but he didn't show it. After all, she had been pursuing him 200 years ago. He felt awkward killing her because of his friendly relationship with the vampire lord. So in his past life, the guy sealed her away for 100 years, saying that one day he would remove the seal and marry her. The guards did not attack him, since it was he who created everything here. If it weren't for despair, I would never have removed the seal. "Keep your distance," the young man ordered her. "I already understand why I'm here," the black-haired man asked. "Of course the vile people have defeated you in a vile way. Let me take revenge on them," the maiden screamed. "But you know my attitude towards you," the young man said. "Of course I knew," said the vampiress. "I love you, Adilasai," she cried. Suddenly something began to bother him greatly. The boy was infected with vampire venom. His body became several times stronger than a human's. "Don't worry, I'll help you settle scores with those bastards," the maiden intervened. She looked reliable, and with her help, many difficulties could easily be overcome. "Do you have high-level equipment?" the guy asked. "Let me think," the vampiress answered immediately. This reaction confused the guy a little. "I'll be right back," the girl said and ran to the door. She handed the black-haired man the robe that the progenitor of the vampires had created. "This is a magical robe," the young man clarified. The rarity of this item was epic. "Wow, you can even upgrade it," the guy noted. "Can you really see what is available to players?" the vampire asked. He became more and more amazed by the possibilities available to mortals. Now it was time for him to change his clothes. The resulting clothing began to change. Having become a certain substance, she began to take over the guy's body. After this, he received not only high-level equipment, but also a subordinate of the 40th level. A terrifying mask appeared on the young man's face. It was time to get out of this dungeon and go to the world of people. On the way back, the warrior statues stood in their usual position. In the world of players, it was necessary to think everything through in advance, as well as hide the true identity. The girl, approaching the exit, began to feel vibrations. There was an invisible wall that didn't allow her to pass. "I was lost in thought and completely forgot about it," thought the black-haired man. Long ago, to prevent her from escaping, he set up a barrier. The key was his weapon, but the reincarnated one did not know where it was now. "I can't remove the barrier yet. As soon as I find a way, I'll come back," he said. "You are so spoiled that you can't stop holding me back," the maiden said. "I will wait for your return," the vampire blurted out lovingly. The black-haired man passed through the gate without any problems. The sight brought back memories of that time, when he was still the lord of monsters and undead. Then he remembered the warrior's words. Did the young man really have several classes? Yes, that's how it was. There were no points yet. But it was possible to unlock the ability. It was time to leave. But before that I had to change clothes, since such good equipment raised many questions. Afterwards, the young man approached the blue portal. "World of players, I am going to take revenge," the young man said at last. An identical portal was opened in the city. Several people in expensive suits were smoking next to him. Photographers and reporters were also present. There were also adventurers who boasted of their trophies. The beginner dungeon had no level restrictions. "If I pass, I will leave no stone unturned," declared one of the warriors. "Calm down, you see someone coming," his comrade intervened. First, someone's legs appeared, then the rest of the body. It was the reincarnated Prince of Darkness. "System, close the passage behind me," he commanded. The artificial intelligence hastened to carry out the order, and in an instant the entrance to the portal disappeared. The onlookers began to look at the guy in bewilderment. He needed to pass for one of his own. It was good that he could control the linked dungeon. "Important news. One player has returned from the burial fields," the reporter reported. The adventurers immediately began asking the young man to sell them high-quality equipment. "Is he one of ours?" asked the fighter. "Stop, you bastard! Where are the others?" The pumped-up warrior was angry. There was a situation where no one wanted to follow the Captain Archer, and she started killing everyone. The young man lied. Since he was the weakest, he simply hid and survived. "Don't play the fool. You have the equipment," asked the angry warrior. "You seem to know a bit too much about this," said the black-haired man. Then the fighter's face changed. He seemed to begin to understand something. "It was you who ordered the captain to kill the rest," the guy clarified. "Die, you bastard!" the warrior growled and swung. In response to this, the Prince of Darkness only grinned. "Rutan, stop!" came from behind the warrior. He had to listen to his comrade. It was the chairman of the Blood Kinship Guild, Stoker, who apologized for his friend. "Come on, stop embarrassing yourself," he yelled. "You want to just let him go," the warrior clarified. "The law is above all, and there are many witnesses here," Stoker replied. "The union's general manager was here too. Now was not the time for showdowns." "But you can't just let him go," Rutan continued. "Of course, so first check who he is," the chairman replied. "If you want to kill him, do it with one blow and without evidence," he added. "So young and already involved in illegal activities. He smiles, but is ready to stab at the right moment. The black-haired man needed to get rid of him as quickly as possible. After this, the guy was called out by the general manager of the players' union, Lau. He was going to check the boy's level for identification. "What is this for?" the guy asked. Damn, there was no way to refuse, since Lau was level 45. They were like a crouching tiger, the young man thought as he was being checked. The system showed that the manager was dealing with a 10th level newcomer. "And how did you manage to get out of there alive?" Lau wondered. "I also cut down all the others," the black-haired man responded to this. "So you like to joke," the manager blurted out. "But if this is not a joke," the prince retorted, "I am responsible for the work and management of the union. Killing players does not concern me," Lau replied. For reaching level 10, he gave the reincarnated person an ID card. The laws didn't apply to dungeons, so that suited him. It was time to fulfill the last will of the owner of this body, to visit the person dearest to him, his sister, Xiao Xiao. Their parents abandoned them when they were children, and since then, they have survived together. Now the responsibility for his relative fell entirely on the prince's shoulders. After a couple of blocks, he reached the required place. Something really stirred him up as soon as he started approaching the house. Someone threatened the girl, to which she said that her brother would arrive any minute. "Ha! He's a first-level idiot. What can he do to us?" one of the bastards showed off. "Given his fighting skills, it is unlikely that he survived," the aggressor continued. "There are a bit too many of you here," the guy intervened. "Brother, it's you," the girl said happily. 1, 2, 3, 4, the black-haired man counted. "You've become a player, so take your sister and get out of here," the bastard blurted out. "If anything, I was counting the experience I would get from you," the guy said. What a mess, the bastard got worried. The aggressor was puzzled by how he managed to emerge from the dungeon so strong. "Joe King, my friend, have mercy on us. We made a mistake," the bastard begged. "Xiao Xiao, do you want me to kill him?" the black-haired man asked his sister, to which she replied that she did not want this. "Thank you. You are now our deity," said the former aggressor. "Just act like a good person and don't hurt others," Xiao ordered. What a hassle. It would have been easier to kill them, thought the prince. "You have a black market here," the guy clarified. "Of course, if you need something, I know everything here," the bastard boasted. Then the young man touched his system's screen with his finger. Things found in the dungeon began to fall to the floor. The prince ordered them to be sold on the black market. He also asked not to ask him unnecessary questions. "He's so creepy. It's better not to mess with him," the bastard thought. "The amount received will be used to pay off the debt." The former aggressor said that he would return the change to the dark-haired man. "Just don't tell anyone that you're selling in my name," the prince said. "I hope our cooperation will be fruitful," the former aggressor blurted out. Afterwards, they said goodbye and went to the black market. My sister's face changed. She wanted to start crying. The young man noticed this. "Why did you come only now? I was worried," she began. The elder brother didn't know what to answer and exhaled. "Sorry, I'm late," he justified himself. "Don't cry, no one will hurt you again," the prince reassured. Meanwhile, it was already starting to get dark outside. So many years have passed. and the reincarnated one still could not feel the blood ties. The time is approaching, he reasoned. His body immediately began to transform. He was wearing the armor he received from the vampire. After the transformation was complete, a mask appeared on him. It was time to carry out his plan. Then, a portal appeared near one of the buildings. The Union people had to cordon off the place. He had to go back and make breakfast for his sister. After the guy's nighttime antics, morning came. He stood at the stove and was about to please his little sister. "Brother," Xiao Xiao blurted out. "Are you trying to poison me or something?" she said, seeing inedible food on the table. The events moved to the night when the prince was planning to take revenge. Having approached the fountain, I was going to start from here. If he succeeds, he will hit the jackpot. He then created a teleportation portal. This ability opened a passage to a bound dungeon, which was rare for ordinary players. Monsters could level up by killing people. The previous massacre had strengthened them. "Greed will destroy you all," declared the prince. "Why did you forget how to cook after just one trip to the dungeon?" my sister wondered. "Joe King, I sold all my things and came with the money," said the young man who appeared. He handed the young man a card with 2 million on it. "Hooray, we're rich!" my sister screamed. "I have one more request for you. I'm going to the dungeon, so take care of your sister," the guy ordered. "No problem, trust me," said the inspired young man. His first task was to prepare breakfast. "Brother, don't go," the girl intervened. "Sorry, but I have important business," the black-haired man justified himself. "I'll return safe and sound," he assured. Finally, the young man wished his sister and assistant good luck. "I'll go there to collect conquest points and look at those who weren't lucky enough to get there," the prince reasoned. Events have moved to the eastern district of the Players' Union. He would never have thought that he would find himself in such a situation. Nobody wanted to take him into the team. A 10th-level warrior would only get in the way, the arrogant adventurers insisted. Also, teams mainly needed mages and supports. "Captain, there is a sweet 10th-level warrior maiden who wants to join us," the young man heard. "Let's take it, I adore the beautiful," the warrior cried out. The only good news was that several players took on the raid quest for his dungeon. Suddenly, someone suggested that the prince join the ranks of adventurers. They were only missing one person. The young man examined them carefully. But he didn't really have a choice. He had to agree. "Then let's go," the warrior of this union blurted out. "Is this your doing?" Stoker asked. "Yes, our people are already hiding here," his comrade answered. "When the time comes, the guy will be killed, and all his equipment will be taken. The burial fields have been updated, the difficulty level has been lowered, and the ability to resurrect has been introduced." Afterwards, the young man got into the team's car. He was unnerved by the fact that such strong fighters were going into such a weak dungeon. The guy in samurai armor was especially exciting. The guys drove to the red portal by car. The entrance to the unknown was just a stone's throw away. The goal of this event was to defeat the boss, the harbor of the fish people. "Now I understand why they are here," the guy said. "Of course, for things and treasures. A huge one-eyed monster guarded these riches. After some time, they passed through the cave. The mage and support needed to stand in the middle. The guy wanted to get rid of them as quickly as possible and gain experience. Monsters began to emerge from the nearest body of water. They were of considerable size and were also armed with tridents. The warriors took up a defensive position. The maiden magician, seeing this, was very frightened, and she asked the warrior for help. The young man didn't care. He wanted to get out of here as quickly as possible. The creature that got too close was fried. "Protect the priestess! Don't let her get hurt!" the magician screamed. Suddenly the maiden's face changed greatly. Meanwhile, the warriors were destroying the fish. "To hide my abilities, I will only use warrior skills," the young man thought. Then he used a battle cry on the enemies. These sounds deafened the freaks. Then something caught his attention. A flame appeared behind the young man. The bastards began to act according to plan and attacked him. But he stood firm. The guy didn't want to die here. The grimace on the Demon King's face changed. "Please forgive me, I missed," the magician justified herself. "It's okay. You'll succeed next time," her boyfriend encouraged her. "Let me patch you up," the cleric intervened. Afterwards, the black-haired man began to assess the situation. He began to understand that Stoker had sent them to destroy him. The samurai also didn't give the guy any peace, wondering why such a strong warrior would do anything here. Then the prince decided to discover a couple of new skills. "Let's clear this dungeon quickly," the warrior intervened. They had to play along, and the black-haired man began to destroy the fish. The maiden mage attacked with a fireball again. After a short battle, they found what they were looking for. There was a boss room in the sunken ship. "Apparently they don't know the whole truth," thought the prince. "Come on, everyone be on the alert," the head of the association commanded. The warriors looked at each other. It was time to attack the new guy. The first was the magician. She began to create a powerful spell. The young man's legs were encased in stone. Then he had to defend himself from the warrior's attack. A bastard armed with a bladed weapon also appeared behind him. The prince noticed this too late. After all, the blow from the bastard made his mouth bleed. This blow sent the guy inside the ship. "Why are you attacking him?" the cleric wondered. "Shut your mouth if you want to live," said the warrior. The young man knew that this would happen, but he didn't think it would happen so quickly. Meanwhile, a funnel began to form in the water. The bastards noticed her. It was a bad sign. A huge deep-sea catfish appeared. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a guy drifting on the water. "So that's why they attacked here," said the prince. "I wonder if he died," the bastards wondered. Meanwhile, the catfish opened its mouth, seeing the guy. A moment later, the black-haired man found himself in the monster's mouth. "Now he will definitely dissolve in the belly," said the warrior. "It's time to go," the leader blurted out. "You're in a hurry somewhere," they suddenly heard. A column of flame suddenly appeared from the monster's mouth. The guy managed to cut out the flesh and get out. "Gentlemen and ladies," he continued his show. "You do other people's dirty work quite well," he continued. "But now everything didn't go according to plan for them. I will kill absolutely all of you," the guy finished his bravado. Meanwhile, an important meeting was taking place in the city center. Stoker and his men were present. "Can your killers be relied upon?" he asked. "Don't worry. Even I'm afraid of their abilities," Rutan blurted out. Jukin had a strange energy and could not be underestimated. The thug didn't understand what kind of problems such a worthless person could cause us. At this time, the three bastards surrounded the prince. The cleric didn't understand how someone with a warrior class could use magic. The trio's faces suddenly became serious. "Attack me! Stop making eyes at me!" the guy blurted out. "First," the Demon King said. During his speech, the first to run was a warrior in green armor. "First, I will destroy the magician," the young man said. Then he hastened to release a fireball at her. "Ha, she couldn't even withstand the blow," the guy laughed. "Now it's time to take on the big guy." Thanks to lightning, it was no longer a problem. After that, the young man went to his next target. Suddenly he felt a blade next to his head. Having repelled the attack, he began to reason why the thug was not paralyzed. Even though he lost half his face, he still continued to fight. "Damn, he's quite tenacious," the guy thought. But a couple of clever moves fixed that. The prince was haunted by a strange feeling the main killer had disappeared from the very beginning. He became invisible, but it didn't help him. Even after such an attack, the enemy still intended to destroy the newcomer. He managed to grab the young man with both arms. His face did not express anything alive. Then the guy turned his gaze to the magician. It began to dawn on him that this was a plan in case the newcomer turned out to be stronger. Thus, they had to destroy themselves along with the young man. After such a powerful explosion, some people remained alive. The unknown man stood on the resulting crater, completely exhausted. The young man did not understand where the adventurers got such devotion from, since they were ready to give their lives. He was very lucky that he had the necessary skill. A cleric maiden appeared who wanted to cure him. While recovering his health, the young man continued to reflect on their actions. Then he felt his body turn to stone. He was so distracted that he fell for a cheap trick. He suddenly became curious about how such a beauty knew the ability to control minds. "I finally found a hole in your defense," she said. "You have thwarted my plan and now you will pay with your life," the maiden added. The guy's blade began to cut his neck. "How long are you going to just watch?" the black-haired man shouted. "I know why you came. You need a weapon, but without me you won't find it," the samurai said. Then with a deft movement, he pulled out his katana. And in a couple of deft movements, he dealt critical damage to the girl. "It's good that you're not on the same page with her," the guy said happily. "Take off your armor and show your face. Then I will tell you where the treasure is," said the reincarnated one. The warrior obeyed the newcomer. Instead of armor, the man had luxurious hair. It was a level 80 maiden named Miyamoto. "If you dare deceive me, a fate worse than that of the cleric will await you," the maiden declared. "If you kill me, you will never find the treasure yourself," the young man retorted. The samurai looked at the guy carefully. "I will believe you, but tell me what I am looking for," asked the girl. "Of course it's a sword," the King of Darkness replied. "Hidekill, which has a double devil blade." "That's right. And where is he?" my friend asked happily. "First, tell me how much it costs," the young man suddenly blurted out. This weapon was the basis for awakening her class, so the guy could ask for anything as a reward. But the prince did not know what it was, which greatly surprised the samurai. After every 20th level, you could increase your class. The tasks were usually tough. Currently, only 7 people have awakening. They are called heroes. They are considered the best of the best. The samurai is 1 step away from awakening. "I wonder if those 4 were among them," the guy thought. Then, seeing his reflection in the sea, he decided it was time to act and led the girl along with him. The fact that the guy simply dove into the water and disappeared puzzled her a little. But there was nowhere to go. Victory was so close. A moment later, she too found herself in a water portal. She had no choice but to trust the strong stranger. The guys have almost reached the right place. Luckily, they had enough air to keep from suffocating. Countless riches lay before the boys. "We definitely came to the right place," the girl asked. "There can be no mistake," the prince blurted out. So many years had passed, but the sword was still in place. Afterwards, the guy handed the samurai the thing he was looking for. "Your order is now completed," said the young man. At this time, she began to carefully open the trophy. What she saw greatly shocked her. "I seem to have forgotten something important," the prince said. The girl at this time continued to examine the hellish blade. "That's it," she suddenly said. At this time, the treasures and gold began to shake. "There should be a gatekeeper here," the guy added. The battlefield was cleared of everything unnecessary in an instant. Afterwards, a huge shadow loomed over the boys. A monster appeared that looked like those that the young man had easily destroyed. The boss's level made the black-haired man worried. "Hey, friend, your time has come. Kick his ass," the prince blurted out. "That's right. The sword immerses the user in a dream world. First you have to defeat yourself," the Demon King remembered. So the samurai could not be relied upon yet. The young man decided to take action. After all, such trifles have never stopped him before. The monster was attacked by a self-confident guy, but the armor was strong and the creature received no damage. Then he came up with the idea of using the soul-capturing claw. A huge purple paw was about to attack the monster. Then using its staff, the creature repelled the attack. And then she moved to the self-confident prince. The speed of the monster was astounding. But he managed to dodge such a swift attack. Considering the speed of the bastard, the guy had to instantly assess the situation. A second later, the monster intended to attack again. It was no longer possible to dodge this attack. Still, the level still decides, thought the prince. Then the black-haired man moved away to a safe distance. With his current attack and strength, he won't be able to break through the bastard's blood and flesh. But he had a little trick up his sleeve. Having used it, the guy got into a fighting stance. The boss was in anticipation of what his opponent was about to do. Deciding not to hesitate, he attacked the guy with a powerful stream of water from his mouth. The power of the hydro element has almost reached man. But the young man stood without hesitation and put his hand forward. At full power, he shouted. The idea was that the blow should be reflected back completely. The creature's face filled with fear. After the work was completed, a hydro element exploded on the battlefield. "I hope I finished him off," the young man thought. But suddenly a blade of water pierced his body. The guy fell to the ground from the pain he received. Damn. The asshole completely hid his aura before the attack. The black-haired man was angry. After this, the location boss took a swing. Meanwhile, in the dungeon of the burial field, things were no better for the warriors. "The boss has entered the second phase. Victory is near," the fighter shouted. "Forward, untold riches await us," the others cried. "You will all die, and your sacrifices will help me reach the end," thought someone from the squad. Suddenly, a purple aura began to take over his body. The other warriors were also struck by this aura. For killing the player, the prince received 800 points. The number of these notifications began to grow rapidly. This gave him hope, and the young man repelled the attack. Thanks to fools, the level of the Dark King became 15. The location boss was amazed by such zeal. Second round, fish-headed, the young man fired. After that, the black-haired man attacked the bastard in the muscles again. Then, deftly turning around during the flight, and pushing off from something solid, the guy delivered a powerful blow, but it was all in vain. The armor didn't give in. Knowing this fact greatly infuriated the black-haired man. The boss at this time decided to enter rage mode. "What kind of cheats are these?" the young man was indignant. The monster began to act immediately. Suddenly the prince saw familiar outlines next to him. The samurai maiden joined the fight and attacked the creature. One lunge from her was enough to send the boss falling to the ground. "I left him with enough health for one hit. Finish him off as a reward for his help," she suggested. She was amazed that the black-haired man had lasted so long. "Okay, I accept your gratitude," said the young man. It didn't take long to finish off such a massive creature. For this, the guy received 1,000 conqueror points. The system also managed to intrigue him by telling him about the devil's test. He decided that he would deal with this later, after he left this place. Then he turned his gaze straight ahead. "What are you staring at?" he asked the samurai maiden. Catching the guy's gaze, she became embarrassed. "I just wanted to thank you for helping me wake up," she blurted out. Then the prince turned his attention to the treasures and wanted to take them all out of here. After settling all the matters, they went to the portal. "If you need anything in the future, find me at the Miyamoto family house. You will be let in right away," the girl said. After hearing this, the guy began to carefully study the curiosity. "When we leave, don't forget to keep my identity a secret," said the assistant. A moment later, the portal to the world opened, and the guys hurried and found themselves in the city center. At the entrance, they were already met by a crowd of important authorized persons. "It can't be. He came out alive," thought the guy in glasses. "I remember that you are a subordinate of that guy," the young man blurted out. Putting his hand on the guy's shoulder, he added, "Tell him this. I will be the last person he sees in his life," the Demon King said insistently. A shudder ran through Comrade Stoker's entire body after these words. Even the chief didn't scare him as much as this newcomer. It seemed to him that it was not a man, but the devil who stood before him. Meanwhile, no less interesting events were taking place in Stoker's office. The subordinate asked his leader to let him go. He justified himself by saying that the previous dungeon was very difficult, and they wouldn't have been able to cope. Calm down, even though you failed, Joe King is probably dead. The head's right hand intervened. At this moment the telephone suddenly rang. Stoker hurried to answer the incoming call. "Mr. Stoker, Joe King survived," said the frightened boy. "How could this happen?" The leader was angry. "I wouldn't advise you to get involved with him. My ability has identified a huge threat coming from the newbie," the subordinate added. He also announced his resignation. After this, the guy threw away his headphones so as not to hear his boss's anger. Stoker's face seemed lifeless after what he learned. He crushed his phone with aggression, and he looked at his subordinate with hatred. A red, frightening aura began to form around the head. Then he put his right hand forward to do some action. A moment after his action, the office windows were smeared with blood. His file said he had a younger sister, the chief clarified. "That's right," replied the faithful friend. "I want her here in an hour," Stoker blurted out. Meanwhile, the young man was returning home tired. He reasoned that after killing the mercenaries, they wouldn't leave him alone so easily. "I wonder if my new sister misses me," the young man thought. What he saw ahead surprised him greatly. Their joint property with their sister was resolved to the ground, and the one who was supposed to protect his treasure was surrounded by mercenaries. "Brother Joe King," the young man's friend shouted. Then the bastards turned their gaze to the black-haired man. "Where is Xiao Xiao?" the prince asked threateningly. "Forgive me, brother, because I'm too weak. She was kidnapped," the guy justified himself. "Follow us if you want to see her," said one of the bastards. "I don't need so many people for an escort. Stay put if you want to live," the reincarnated one retorted. "Yes, we will finish you now," the aggressor screamed. After this, the young man made an instant dash forward. Everyone's heads flew off their shoulders except for the one who started the dialogue with the young man. "I said that you alone would be enough," the black-haired man blurted out. Meanwhile, the young man's friend continued to make excuses. "Become stronger. This is not a request, but an order," the prince said to this, as he saw devotion in this young man. "I'll go get my sister and give you an assignment," the Demon King added. Meanwhile, the bastards were waiting to meet the promising young man. The greeting began with the green-haired man flying into the wall. "Didn't we send him on the mission?" one of the bastards asked. It is unlikely that the mercenary would have survived such a blow. The sought-after young man appeared on the horizon. "Are you all Stoker's subordinates?" the black-haired man asked. "Give up the treasures if your sister's life is dear to you," one of the assholes blurted out. "I don't negotiate with those who threaten me," the prince retorted. "You still dare to threaten us? In this backwater no one will know if a couple of people lose their lives," said the guy with a scar on his face. "It's a good place indeed," the young man replied. "Let's attack at once. Stoker will reward us for this," one of the bastards blurted out. He was the first to try to strike with his axe. The young man didn't even flinch because the blade was so close. He managed to dodge such a massive bladed weapon without any difficulty. Then, grabbing the bastard by the ear, the young man slammed the asshole into the ground with all his might. Several more equally self-confident fighters appeared behind him. The prince had no choice but to create magic in his hand, and then release a fireball at the warriors. After this, he turned his gaze upward. There were 3 more waiting for him there. Then, thanks to the system, he created a sword, and in a couple of swings he destroyed the enemies. A second later, a piercing scream was heard. One of the bastards begged for help, because he did not die, but lost his arm. "Please spare me," he begged. "It's a bit late for you to start whining for mercy," the young man blurted out. While the black-haired man finished off the bastard, Stoker watched. "It's good that we sent the trash to assess his strength," the head's comrade blurted out. "He is not your rival. There is no point in being afraid," said the red-eyed man. "Besides, his sister is with us," Stoker added. When the young man looked up, he realized where he needed to go. The bastards were at the construction site at an impressive distance from him. "Give me back my sister," the young man shouted. "You think that if you dealt with a handful of weaklings, you can set conditions for us?" The chief's friend was angry. Then his hands began to change shape. The face took on a bestial appearance. Having become a monster, he jumped off the ledge and landed right in front of the young man. "Give us the thing we need, and you and your sister will be alive," the monster blurted out. "Enough chatter. Attack already," the prince said in a calm tone. "The sooner you attack, the sooner you die," added the black-haired man. "You have plenty of self-confidence," the monster screamed. After his words, he immediately left the place where he stood, and he flew towards the reincarnated Demon King. The black-haired man hastened to use the magic shield. The creature couldn't believe it couldn't get through it. "If this is all you can do, then I won't even have to use a weapon," the young man said. Then the guy stirred from the changed aura. The monster used magical wool, which increases resistance. "You think you can handle me with your strength and speed?" the creature laughed. "If you don't try, you'll never know," the young man replied. After this, the warriors hit each other with their fists. It is logical that an explosion occurred on the battlefield next. His strength is enough to resist me, the beast thought. After this, the prince managed to get around his opponent. Why is he grinning as if I am nothing to him? The monster wondered. The guy's face at this time did not express fear. He despises me, the little bitch. The creature continued to push herself. While he was thinking this, he opened himself up to a blow, and the young man dealt him some damage. The attack was so strong that the weirdo flew away. But during the flight, he managed to maintain his balance and landed on his feet. How much strength this boy has, thought the beast. The young man stood firmly on his feet, ready for the next attack. He forced the monster to use its level 25 trump card. A terrifying scream echoed throughout the construction site. The monster used primal power. Its strength and health increased many times over. The young man saw a terrifying red aura in front of him. Then a beast appeared behind him and shouted that the guy would definitely not be able to handle it now. Sensing the enemy's approach, the prince struck his opponent in the teeth with his fists. "Your fate is truly sad, for the sun has set," said the young man. The beast looked at the youth in bewilderment. Since the guy is now a vampire, his regeneration, health, and strength have been increased. His eyes turned red, and a line appeared in them that would allow one to see him as a bloodsucker. Once the beast was dealt with, the prince announced that it was now Stoker's turn. "And you are strong, I propose a deal," said the leader. "Hand over your gear and you'll become my comrade," the guy blurted out. "Such proposals always have an or," the young man retorted. "The most vulnerable people are those who have someone to protect." This golem was a gift to Stoker from his older brother. There was someone's body inside the massive monster. To use such a colossus, it is necessary to replenish its reserves of vital energy. The poor fellow's past strength was greatly depleted. After a short silence, Stoker said something frightening. Now the golem needed a new source of life, and the boy's sister would be perfect for this. "Xiao!" the elder brother immediately shouted. It was too late. The maiden was already inside the monster. After receiving the life energy, the golem immediately left the place where it stood, and landed right on the battlefield. "I wonder what will happen first. Your death or the end of your sister's life reserves," the leader said. "Damn, if I use strong magic I'll hurt my sister," the guy thought. The golem didn't hesitate and immediately went on the attack. If the fight drags on, Xiao won't last. The monster's powerful blow sent the young man flying, but he managed to gather his strength and landed on his feet. With a powerful dash, he found himself right above the golem, and then he struck the bastard hard on the head with his blade. The creature's frightening face looked at its opponent, and she dealt him a powerful blow with her paw. This blow did not break the young man, but this blow still broke the warrior's spirit a little. "Even if you use all your skills, you still won't survive," Stoker intervened. The sister's life force was being spent every second. Enough of this delay, the leader did not calm down. If the young man sacrifices himself, then Xiao will live. As soon as the paw almost touched the prince's face, the golem broke into many pieces and the child's body fell out of it. The young man managed to catch her, and after that he looked at the main bastard. It was impossible, Stoker wondered, how this could have happened. No, the blow came from another place, he realized. A samurai girl and loyal companion of the prince came to his aid. "And you managed to come at the last moment," the Demon King blurted out. Miyamoto woke up. How she managed to do this, Stoker did not understand. "Don't worry, I didn't hurt your sister," said the maiden. Now it was time to deal with the boy. Stoker's face was flushed with rage and hatred. "You better take care of my sister," the young man intervened. Then a blue aura appeared around him. He himself did to destroy the enemy. Stoker realized how dire his situation was. The maiden swore on her family's honor to look after Xiao. She wished the guy good luck and told him to come to her house after finishing his business. "You're an idiot," the chief intervened. Then a weapon began to appear in his hand. "You missed your last chance for survival," he added. "I wonder how much experience they will give me for your death," thought the prince. The boys didn't hesitate and attacked each other. Afterwards, they took a break. It didn't last long. A moment later, both left the places where they were standing. Their blades clashed in battle for the second time. After this, Stoker used a dark hold. This ability, he is from the vampire family, the young man thought. Then the guy's face changed. "I realized that I had missed a serious blow to the body with a blade." Stoker saw a blue glow near his face. A moment later, an explosion occurred on the battlefield, and both were damaged. Stoker managed to land on his feet. His hand and half of his face were burned. "Fire techniques work great against vampires," the young man blurted out. "How naive you are, you consider me a waste of space." The head was indignant. Then his face became covered with a red crust. "You will pay for your contempt with your life," Stoker blurted out. A moment later he left the place where he stood, and he managed to grab the guy by the throat. After that, I pinned him against the wall. His hand and half of his face were healed. The magic used on the prince did not allow him to escape. Stoker's eye flashed at this moment, and he began to suck the life energy out of his opponent. Then his opponent disappeared in an instant. Stoker didn't understand why this happened, because his blood seal could seal anyone. After this, the head looked around carefully. At a critical moment, the black-haired man managed to activate the previously received task. Now, we will have to put all our efforts into its implementation. The guy found himself on a huge round bridge. A pentagram appeared on the ground right in front of him, from which something began to emerge. A huge warrior clad in armor appeared. It was the boss, the fallen apostle. Without wasting a second, he rushed straight at the black-haired man. The barbarian was armed with 2 axes. The young man had difficulty fending off the blows he received. But having waited for the right moment, the giant put all his strength into the next attack. The impact caused the earth to crumble. Fortunately, the Demon King managed to dodge, and now the advantage was on his side. "Is that all you can do?" the young man asked his opponent, and he pierced the bastard's neck with his blade. Exhausted, the giant fell to the ground. "Your strength is almost at the level of a 25th level player. And what will they give me for you?" thought the black-haired man. Meanwhile, the warrior began to rise to his feet. His wounds began to heal, and he shouted at the top of his lungs to show who was boss. Damn, did he really come back to life, the young man thought. However, no matter how many times the enemy is reborn, the outcome will be the same. Then something caught his attention. The bastard's body began to heal again in seconds. There, a moment later, there was a huge scar on his chest. This was beginning to irritate the black-haired man. Then he tried to burn the warrior with blue flame. Then he cut it into several pieces, and made a sizable hole in his body with his fist. But it was all to no avail. This could go on forever. Then the blade of an axe flashed. The young man received a strong blow from the warrior's weapon. He even had to jump aside from this. Then the guy realized that the test was something else. Stop, I was summoned to the dungeon, he thought. Now everything became clear to him. At this moment the warrior swung his blade, and the young man tried to cut it in half. But he managed to dodge and ran further towards the door. We had to think more broadly. He broke it by hitting it against the wall. The dungeon does not end with just one room. The main entity must have been hiding somewhere behind the door. That's where he found her, and seeing another creature, he armed himself with a sword. The guy was almost killed by an axe, but luckily he was able to dodge it. Now he had to fight 2 opponents at once. A moment later, the warrior's face and body began to blur. He was rapidly turning into a puddle. The fallen apostle was killed, the task was completed. For this, the young man received the ability to summon monsters outside the dungeon. After this award, he left this place, in order to take part in the battle with Stoker again. The vampire did not understand at this time where his opponent had gone. While he was thinking, the youth's blade appeared above his head. He managed to notice this in time, and he tried to repel the attack with his sword. "You had the courage to come back to die," he clarified. "Shut your vile mouth and prepare to die," the young man blurted out. "It's a shame you didn't run away," the chief continued. Now Stoker intended to end this misunderstanding quickly, and he immediately went on the attack. The young man's face did not express fear, he had a plan. A greenish glow began to appear around Stoker. He didn't understand where the blows were coming from. Then he saw a huge golem with a log. While he was examining it, the young man did not hesitate and struck. The leader had no choice but to become a flock of bats. Thanks to them, he landed on one of the balconies. "So you are calling?" he asked, puzzled. "No, they usually don't have such physical indicators." "What kind of monster are you?" he wondered. "You couldn't have said it better," the black-haired man chuckled at this. After this, a huge number of fireballs flew at Stoker. He was unable to evade them. Hellfire consumed this vampire. The leader wondered how he managed to summon so many magicians. These attacks knocked him to the ground. But having gathered his remaining strength into a fist, "Got it, bastard. Fight me one-on-one." "I'm sorry," the prince replied. "I have other plans." After these words, a huge number of undead appeared behind his back. Crowds of stupid creatures, driven by the thirst for murder, ran towards the vampire. They had already gotten very close to Stoker. All this made the vampire very angry. He had no choice but to waste his strength on such weak creatures. "It seems that you called me worthless," said the young man. After that, he said that he had just started to have fun, and the head of a huge dragon appeared next to him. This beast greatly frightened Stoker. The dragon, without hesitation, began to open its mouth to attack. He then released a huge stream of blue flame towards the bastard. The lower summoned creatures also came under attack. Damn, it's time to retreat, under the CD chapter. But it was too late. The young man managed to behead the bastard in the confusion. Showing fear in battle is tantamount to signing your own death warrant. But for some reason, after the murder, the young man did not receive experience and message. Blood magic healed Stoker's body. "What the hell?" said the black-haired man. The bastard's magic was getting stronger at this time. The young man's resistance was no longer sustainable. He even started taking damage from her. Suchinish wanted to move into a new body. "It will be mine!" Stoker screamed. All he needed to do was destroy the prince's soul. The vampire succeeded and entered the enemy's inner world. "Hey, show yourself! Stop hiding!" the leader yelled. "Turn around," the guest suddenly heard. There he saw the Demon King himself in front of him. He had no choice but to fall to the ground in front of him. Could this really be true? Stoker couldn't believe it. "Your last words," asked the Demon King. "I didn't mean to offend you, and I'm ready to become your loyal comrade," the leader said. Then the prince thought for a moment. Then, clenching his fist, saying that those who waste their last words on something like this are unworthy of life. The young man was covered in a red aura after the fight. For killing such a strong enemy, he received 50,000 points. "You're trying to compete with me, you little brat?" the prince asked. Suddenly, the boy's body was enveloped in pain. "Didn't I finish him off?" the young man thought. By killing the vampire, he started the process of evolution. Blood magic began to flow from the beast's body. Stoker's corpse was not left idle either. The bodies of ordinary soldiers are no exception. They too began to lose vital energy. All this power began to pass to the young man. Now he has become a beginner-level vampire. His equipment was also improved. Now he could control corpses. I decided to take Stoker's saber as a trophy. This epic weapon was better than his previous pick. Afterwards, the young man realized that someone was approaching him. "Nimble guys, perhaps it's not worth showing off once again," thought the black-haired man. Then, thanks to his abilities, he disappeared. The agents arrived at the scene of the battle. They found no one there except a lot of corpses. All those killed were related by blood. Then their leader saw something amazing. Luochin of the Wolf Spirit clan was killed. He had a bad feeling about this, and needed to report it to his superiors. If someone dared to cross the path of the Wolf Spirit, that guy would surely deal with it. One of the awakened, the head of the clan, the beast god Matt. Meanwhile, there was fun in one of the mansions. The owner of these riches received a call, and they reported that Stoker was dead. But the guy with a strong physique didn't particularly care. But he ordered to find the one who killed the young vampire. "Since one of ours was removed, the killer will be punished," the old man declared. "By the way, are you sure you want to sell that weapon at auction?" he added. The answer was affirmative, since it recognized only one owner, and the head of the mansion was not him. Then the old man hung up. "A fine weapon," he said. "It's a pity that there was no one to use Adilisai's blade." Meanwhile, the young man came to a mansion built in Japanese style. Miyamoto's mansion was huge, but it was nothing compared to his palace. Suddenly the door swung open in front of him. "You are Mr. Joking, right?" asked the old man. His name was Liu Cheng. He was a servant of this family, and he asked the young man to follow him. The prince didn't understand why the hell he was level 50. "I heard that you helped the lady wake up," the old man said. This matter was very important to their family, as the previous head of the family was killed by Adilisai. So until recently there were no more awakened in their family. After the last raid on the Demon King, only 5 players survived. "It's strange, there were many survivors before my death," the young man wondered. "I raised Miss from an early age. She is an unhappy person," the old man continued. "So he will kill anyone who dares to attack their family." His aura was strong and deadly. The guy became curious as to why they were treating him like her husband. After his reflections, the young man heard a familiar voice. It was his little sister. She was glad that Joe King was okay. "Don't cry. Everything will be fine." The elder tried to calm her down. "Now I need to talk to the sister who saved you," the Demon King said. "You seem to care about her very much," the old man remarked. "Of course, and I will kill anyone who dares to harm her," the young man said. "I think I can rely on you," said the grandfather. Having reached the right door, the old man announced that they were there. Then the young man hurried to visit his friend. "Does she really want to discuss Adilisaya with me?" the black-haired man thought. The girl was worried about the atmosphere in the room being like a date. Why did she blush? Could it really be rage, the prince wondered? Then the girl was the first to speak. She was interested in how the young man managed to destroy that level 40 warrior. "I have my own methods of solving problems," the reincarnated one answered. He seemed angry and needed to change the subject. "Stockton, an ally of Liu Yi, is one of the awakeners who joined the raid. He is cold-blooded and will not cause himself any trouble by killing his ally." "I left no traces. They won't be able to find me," the young man replied. "If this is the leader of the Wolf Soul tribe, he will definitely find it." The young man didn't understand what these were. Dog meat sellers. The Wolf Soul tribe is one of the 7 great guilds that have enormous power and strength. Matt has a keen sense of smell and can use it to identify anyone he has seen in the past month. "Yes, he looks like a real dog," the prince suddenly blurted out. Suddenly the old man burst into the room. "This is about Adilisai," said the elder. "Could it really be about me?" the young man thought. The Demon King's weapon was sold at auction. "It's not in Liu Yi's hands," the maiden was alarmed. The information was absolutely correct. It was put up a month after the 10th funeral ceremony of the Demon King was held. "Why can't they let me go even after death?" the guy wondered. "Yes, only a true prince can use it," said the maiden. These words flattered the reborn king. The girl suddenly became curious about why her friend was smiling like that. There was only a month left. He needed to change his profession, no matter what method he used to do it. He needed to get back what belonged to him. At this time, the bastard pinned down one of the girls in a dark alley. "The more you scream, the more excited I become," said the rapist. "Great, wherever I go it's the same bastards," the unknown man said. "Who are you? Don't interfere," the rapist got angry. "Oh, you're a level 25 berserker warrior," the young man said. The bastard started laughing when they started threatening him with violence. But before he could do anything, the prince received 3,000 points for his death. The girl felt uneasy as soon as she saw the severed head. And after that, she hurried to escape from this place. He was just a little bit away from reaching level 20. A few more similar murders of bad people, and now he could change his profession. Free experience continued to drip from the dungeon. Suddenly, a system notification hit the guy. Someone successfully completed the raid. All his skills were blocked. Even the attribute enhancement disappeared. "Who is this bastard? What did this?" the young man was angry. Meanwhile, in the burial dungeon, someone unknown stood on the bones of a huge dragon. The adventurers were perplexed as to why such a strong guy didn't take it upon himself to help. "Why did I bring you, you ask?" the fighter began. "Because he needed witnesses to what he was doing. Doesn't he just want to show off?" they thought. The player's name was Long Yan Wu. He had just reached level 20 and was thinking about changing his profession. Meanwhile, cars drove calmly through the city center. Suddenly, a gate appeared in the middle of the road. Their aura was so powerful that it pushed back nearby cars. People immediately took notice. They felt there was danger behind it. They grew bigger and bigger. At some point, there was an explosion. Everyone who was at its epicenter did not survive. The fire began to spread further. It was a copy. How could it cause so much harm? The man from headquarters did not understand. "Isn't it time we opened dungeons like Adilasai?" his comrade asked. "We just received information. This is a dungeon for changing professions," the headquarters worker blurted out. The man with red hair couldn't understand how it could cause such a commotion. There was clearly something wrong with him, the worker added. On this day, all those who had not completed the profession change received the same system notifications. "The profession change dungeon is open. Here's what was stated in it." The city looked like it was after a zombie apocalypse. "Night necromancer. When I was young, I heard about this legendary profession," the young man thought. "I didn't think I'd meet her in the human world." Suddenly something made him stop. He realized that he simply had to become this necromancer knight. The association sealed the place. Turning into bats, he realized that he would kill anyone who stood in his way. "Why don't you let us in?" the adventurers cried. "If you defeat me, you will be able to do it," said the blond man in an expensive suit. This group of those who did not change their profession does not match him in strength, the guy thought. The guy who stopped them was a level 35 paladin. "I'll bury you," exclaimed one of the warriors. A moment later he rushed forward, and he attacked the guy with blonde hair. The paladin smiled slyly. Then opening his eyes, did something that scared the others. The impact was so strong that they didn't notice how their comrade was pressed into the wall. "The paladin has spoken. Go ahead, who's next?" "I want to try," the young man blurted out. "Low-level trash, get out of here, don't block our way," the warrior behind him raged. A 24th level fighter advised the boy to run home to his mommy. "Are you seeking death?" the prince asked threateningly. "Oh, so you're a member of the Iga Guild," the paladin suddenly blurted out. The other warriors clearly became jealous. They say this because they themselves want to get this profession, and not give others the opportunity to get it. "Trash, like you still want to challenge this legendary dungeon to change profession. Open your eyes." The fighter was indignant. The young man looked at him with disdain, and he punched the aggressor in the face. The blow was so strong that the bastard flew far away. "Uncle Cheng, he hit me. Help me deal with him." He was indignant. "Baby, you've angered someone you shouldn't have. Now you have only yourself to blame," the old man intervened. "You think you can beat up a member of the Miyamoto family?" the samurai girl's family member suddenly blurted out. Uncle Chung was shocked to see the butler here. That year he brought a little girl here to explore the dungeon. But they were surrounded by enemies. Yet he killed more than 100 opponents single-handedly. "We won't spoil the face of the Miyamoto family," Chung said. "Damn, I'll make you beg for mercy," thought the defeated aggressor. "The miss said that you could come here, so I came to help you," said the butler. "I still decided to use the old method when entering," the young man said. "Why do you need this?" "You simply don't have a chance to pass the test," said the paladin. "You won't know until you try," the Demon King retorted. "You asked for it, so don't be offended later," the white-haired guy said. After his words, he immediately rushed into battle. He charged his body with yellow energy and swung. The young man stood unwavering, without fear. The paladin attacked. Dust rose. The prince repelled the attack without difficulty. "So weak. Now it's my turn," said the young man. Now a fist charged with red energy flew at the bastard. "Damn, why can't I break free?" the paladin wondered. Then he hastened to activate the barrier. But it was too late. The black-haired man began to beat him. The guy had to cover his face with his hands. He realized what a dire situation he found himself in. When his barrier finally broke, he blurted out that he was giving up. "Can I go through now?" asked the young man. The answer after this was affirmative. And why is the guild leader such a weakling, the Demon King said. Afterwards, the young man and the butler went to the portal. It looks like all these people came to change their profession, the guy thought. There he met Ma Teng, a 23rd level warrior. Another knight of the 21st. Also a beautiful girl, Gio, whose class was warrior. All these low players were untrained warriors and knights. There were also those who had a high level to lead the group. For example, the destroyer of the 45th, or the holy knight of the 50th. Your skills deserve respect, the unknown person said. He would never have thought that there was anyone else in the Miyamoto family who deserved respect. This person greatly interested the young man. It was the clan leader from the Death Spirit Guild, Li Jiyu. Yanwu, this guy's fighting ability is as good as yours, Death Judge reported. The aura of the demon race emanated from him. The black-haired man felt it immediately. By gaining everyone's attention, you made me very angry, Yanwu said. Behind him stood Anji still alive after so many years. Why do you treat me with such hostility? The leader suddenly blurted out. The young man did not answer this question. I think this is all your aura of the spirit of death. Anyone who sees it should be wary, the butler intervened. You're probably right. I heard that your girlfriend has awakened. The late Uncle Miyamoto would be very happy, the Death Judge replied. You mean the one who was killed by Adilasai, the young man clarified. Yes, he died exactly when the Demon King got angry. Then only 6 people survived. This bastard is lying. There was no such thing. What is he hiding? The black-haired man reasoned. This is my guild member, Long Yan Wu. You guys can take care of each other when you enter, the Death Judge said. Well, let's learn from each other, suggested the warrior. If you have the opportunity, visit our guild, the leader suggested. Don't worry, I'll definitely come back and kill you, the young man thought. There was another survivor of his race. Perhaps she knows what happened. It was necessary to find a way to save her from this man. You have a grudge against Li Jiyu, the old man intervened. He was a genius who awakened at the age of 18. It was better not to anger him. Uncle Liu, you're too worried, the black-haired man tried to justify himself. At this time, the leader of the Association Area clan, Chang Hu, was trying to calm the people down. Be careful. There is only one chance to change your profession, said the butler. It is they who should be afraid of me, not I of them, the boy thought. Before we go in, I want to tell you something, Chang Hu blurted out. According to the information received, the hidden profession of the Necromancer Knight changes the dungeon, which meant that only knights and warriors could enter. There were no level restrictions, and the dungeon didn't limit the summoning options. These words greatly frightened the players. What exactly is the problem? Asked the young man. The dungeon and the challenge differ in difficulty. No restrictions prove that it is something impossible. There is only one dungeon, which does not limit the possibilities of challenge. Could this be possible? The young man suggested. Yes, this is the dungeon of Adilasai, the Demon King, Chang Hu blurted out. If you're done chatting, can I come in now? Asked the black-haired man. Are you going to go in alone? The clan leader asked in surprise. I don't need any extra ballast, the prince replied. Arrogant bastard! The warriors shouted after him. I didn't expect that there was anyone more arrogant than me, Yanwu said. Recklessly, there is no doubt that he will become everyone's enemy, the maiden blurted out. There were rumors that after changing professions, all a person's greed came to light. Everyone around is an enemy, pursuing one goal. One person was more than enough. The insides of the dungeon resembled hell. After the young man entered there, he found himself next to lava. The location was chosen randomly. Other players had to be distributed to other locations. The system reported that the boss Lord of Purgatory was killed. The gates to the city were opened. It seemed that the only way to leave here was to kill the monster, the young man thought. Now it was much more important to save that girl, because she knew what happened to the prince after his death. As for that guy, he emanated a hidden threat. It seemed his abilities were not so simple. Suddenly something distracted the young man from his thoughts. The monster's thick scales appeared. Then the prince saw in front of him a huge lava worm of the 30th level. The young man waited for the monster's next attack. The monster rushed to attack with lava from its mouth. A moment later, the worm was cut into several pieces. For killing such a creature, the young man received 50 conqueror points. The defeated one suddenly began to glow. The black-haired man noticed this too late. There was a powerful explosion, but he managed to survive after that. Self-destruction. Do you think you can fool me with such tricks? The young man clarified. Such wounds were easily treated. Suddenly, more creatures began to emerge from the ground. The young man was surrounded by the same lava worms. It was becoming more and more interesting. In an instant, these creatures were destroyed. What a pity that the conqueror points he had received could not be spent, the young man thought. Then he noticed a passage to another location. Finally, the black-haired man could meet other players. It turns out that he was not alone in the lava location. A group of 4 people tried to deal with the golem. Skill activated. Protection of sacred light, the fighter said. The barrier helped to cope with the monster's attack perfectly. Then he used the protection of sacred light. "Attack him quickly. Don't let him recover," the fighter ordered his comrades. The boys hastened to carry out the order. The young man watched them all this time and was amazed at their strength. They had very little time left to finish off the creature. "A death blow," shouted the leader of this small group. Suddenly his people were attacked by him. "You bastard, what are you doing?" The maiden was angry. "I'm just trying to get rid of the competition," the fighter said. "I'll make you regret it," the girl screamed. "I wonder if you can withstand my attack," asked the bastard. "What an interesting little thing you have," the young man intervened. Then the bastard asked the young man who he was, but the prince did not hesitate and attacked the guy. When he came, the maiden did not understand. "I think I need to hit you again, since I forgot who I am," the young man blurted out. "Are you looking for death or something?" The bastard got angry. "I will kill you because you have what I am looking for," the young man blurted out. The bastard was confused. "I didn't expect you to come into my arms yourself," he said. "If these are your last words, then your stupidity and worthlessness are immediately evident," the black-haired man retorted. "You arrogant bastard, one card is enough to kill you," the fighter blurted out. He then summoned a shadow warrior for support. The dark entity immediately sank into the ground after it appeared. Then she found herself behind the young man. "Ha, this is what your provocations led to," the bastard laughed. But coping with it was not an impossible task for the guy. The bastard was even embarrassed by this. "Your attack is too weak," the black-haired man said. Then the fighter began to boast that this was only a weak part of his strength. "Don't disappoint me. You don't have many attempts left," the young man blurted out. Afterwards, the fighter activated the death coffin. At that very second, a purple box appeared above the prince's head. "It's too weak. Give me something stronger," the young man replied. The furious bastard fired off a dark-cutting skill. The Demon King was attacked by a weak attack once again. "Have you done anything at all?" he asked his opponent. "Stop looking down on me," the fighter continued. Then he activated the Death God's Eye and the Demonic Needle Shadow illusion. "These techniques don't work on me," the black-haired man replied. "It's impossible. Why is he so strong?" the warrior wondered. "Compared to me, you're just trash," the prince blurted out. Thanks to the vampire's abilities, he disappeared into thin air. And then it left its mark on the bastard. The blow caused the guy to bleed from his mouth. The prince's attack forced him to fly far away and break through the wall with his body. The clan leader's high-ranking armor did not save him. Then the realization dawned on the fighter. He had 2 cards left, one to defeat the boss and one to escape. The enemy was already very close. "Now is the time," thought the fighter. He used Descent of Darkness on the prince. After this, the Demon King calmed down and stopped attacking. This skill deprives the target of the 5 senses. Now he has a great chance to win. "Are you by any chance a clown?" the young man asked. The fighter's face was filled with incomprehension. The prince decided not to waste precious time and went on the attack. Punched the bastard's chest with his hand. "Really stupid trash," the young man said, standing over the body. He tried to escape until the end, despite the mark. The opponent also had his cards left in his inventory, which greatly interested the young man. One of them made the guy stand in a stupor. This card was this scum's trump card. "Thank you for saving me," the maiden intervened. "When we get back, I'll ask my father to repay you," she added. A witness. Perhaps I should kill her, the young man thought. Suddenly someone created several pentagrams. "Scoundrel, stay away from her," her friend intervened. "What the hell is wrong with this guy?" the prince exclaimed. He was a 55th level warrior. "Uncle Zhang, you all got it wrong. He saved my life," the girl said. Who, this brat, did not believe the warrior? "Yes, I was attacked, but luckily he helped me," she added. Zhang apologized, saying he had acted recklessly. The maiden introduced herself and her uncle, Jing Jing and Shou. "My name is Zhou Qing, by the way. If your uncle is a warrior, why did he use the skills of another profession?" the young man clarified. "In fact, I am an astrologer, which allows me to change the panel's capabilities without any problems," the uncle replied. "Wow, such an unstable ability. And yet he still calmly enters the dungeons," the young man thought. "Maybe we can team up," Jing suggested. "Thank you for the offer, but I am used to acting alone," the prince replied. "Damn, this bastard is too strong. I'll have to stay away from him," the guy thought. "Brother, be careful," the girl wished as she said goodbye. After this, the young man left them. "This boy is too cautious," the uncle reasoned suspiciously. Then, using his abilities, he decided to see if the young man posed a threat to them. The ball that was inside the rings began to split. This really scared my uncle, but the guy is not so simple. It was necessary to kill him so that he would not create problems for others, the astrologer thought. Another team in the same location encountered a huge monster. It was a level 35 elemental, a flaming demon spirit. Their team was full of warriors, but not a single healer. The monsters here were just incredible. Finally, living people and a strong creature, the unknown person blurted out. It was a boastful guy, and a girl to whom the prince had many questions. "I'll consider this a warm-up," said the warrior. After this, he instantly left the place where he was standing. He's gone mad, the weak warriors screamed. So rush at the monster, he is clearly looking for death. Yes, instant death, said the fighter. Then, pushing off from the ground, he pierced the creature with his spear. One blow was enough to get rid of the elemental. One blow from me is enough, the warrior with the spear began to boast. The warriors were puzzled as to how he managed to use his swordsmanship skills. Did you understand everything the braggart asked them? Damn, we found out his secret. Now he'll kill us all. The soldiers were alarmed. Please let us go, they begged for mercy. What, you don't say anything? The warrior asked in surprise. You must share the story of my victory, the braggart said. He's a real idiot, the fighters thought. Follow me and don't lag behind, said the spearman, for they must see his heroic exploits. Finally I found him, as expected. He is very strong, the young man thought. His goal was to kill the boss, and if he was lucky, then deal with the braggart as well. Waiting for the best moment to attack was his tactic. Meanwhile, the braggart reached the red goblins who were carrying the statue. In his hand, the spearman held the head of a similar creature. Then he crushed her pathetically. This gesture greatly frightened the fellow goblins. Without thinking for long, the warrior rushed into battle. He used meteor strike on the monsters. A boxer's skill, he didn't need any special weapons to use it. They had common situations. Only the status of the spearman was lower than that of the youth. Luckily, he didn't look very smart. I'm so handsome and cool, the warrior boasted. Is this a seal? He asked in surprise. Then he felt something behind him. A huge fireball flew at him. The one who released it was an old goblin shaman. Then he started to glow all over. And a moment later he exploded. Well, speak in human language, otherwise I won't listen to you, the spearman blurted out. Could there really be a treasure hidden inside the statue? He wondered. Mistress of Hell, perhaps this is the boss's seal, the black-haired man reasoned. The spearman did not stand on ceremony and destroyed the statue. By his actions he created something irrevocable. The warriors immediately took notice of this. The friend, to whom the young man had many questions, also did not remain on the sidelines. Columns of green poisonous flame began to appear from the ground. One of these formed right under the spearman, but he managed to dodge something like that in time. Afterwards, he landed successfully on another piece of land, and he looked at what was happening in front of him. The acidic, poisonous fog began to dissipate. Someone's devilish leg appeared. The war horse of the spirit of death appeared before the warrior. While he was trying to come to his senses, the monster hastened to attack, but the guy managed to react in time. One precise swing of the spear, and the creature was cut into several pieces. But it only seemed that way at first glance. The horse was safe and sound. My attack passed through him, the braggart thought. At this time, the young man was analyzing the situation, sitting in the shelter. I was sealed for 10,000 years. I finally found freedom. Suddenly came from the huge column of green flame. Now prepare to die, pathetic humans. A demon appeared, the mistress of hell. Her level was 60. Prepare to accept your death, she said. You don't stand a chance against me, the demon scared. The spearman, looking at her, felt fear. At this time, ordinary warriors were burned by its flames. This is crazy. Why is she so strong? The young man wondered. After her attack, the mistress left only ruins. Prepare for battle. We must win, said the elf maiden who helped her comrade. A man and a demon fighting side by side. What nonsense, declared the mistress of hell. You will die right here, she added, and she released a column of flame at the boys. The poisonous flame almost touched the demon maiden's face. Who are you? Screamed the mistress of hell. Although it doesn't matter who you are, you have no right to harm my people, she added. The prince came to the rescue and managed to intercept the boss's spear. This gesture greatly impressed the hostess. Not bad, being an ordinary mortal. You managed to catch my spear. Tell me your name, she asked. The boy squeezed the poisonous blade tighter. And he said that he was the immortal demon king Adilasai. It's impossible. He died long ago. You're definitely not him, exclaimed the braggart's friend. Oh, you're still such a crybaby, she suddenly heard. I'm sorry I made you suffer all this time. Now Dad is home and from now on he will protect you, the elf heard. But why are you in a human body? Asked the demon maiden. We'll talk about this later, the young man said, squeezing the blade in his hand. First, I will destroy the bastard who enslaved you. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, he added. Father, please stop. He is not a bad man, the maiden exclaimed. All these years he has protected me. We have a contract. You can trust him, she swore. Yes, father, trust me, the braggart blurted out. Who said you can call me that? The young man shouted, kicking the spearman. Okay, first we need to deal with the boss, the prince added. The mistress of hell had already begun to prepare for the next attack. After her words, she unleashed a giant poisonous flame on the warriors. Fortunately, all three managed to dodge this attack. They decided not to hesitate and attacked the boss at once. After such a joint attack, an explosion occurred on the battlefield. What weaklings you are, the hostess replied to them. Thanks to her powers, she managed to push back all three of them. But the guys managed to land on their feet. So this is the difference between me and a level 60 monster, the young man thought. Suddenly the boss disappeared from their sight, and he found himself right behind the demon maiden. "Father!" the frightened girl screamed. But it was too late. The mistress had made a hole in her chest. Then both the braggart and the prince simultaneously shouted her name. A moment later, both of them, having lost control, rushed into the attack. The boss realized that she could put pressure on them. The young man activated his vampire skill, while the spearman used a dragon strike. At the same time, they attacked the green creature. With their combined efforts, they managed to inflict at least some damage on the enemy. Then the spearman began to use the holy healing skill in order to somehow help his friend. "Don't worry, she can be saved," he told the prince. "This type of attack is quite good, very suitable for massage." The mistress of hell intervened. The young man was again overcome by a feeling of hopelessness. Just like when his family members were hurt and bullied and he failed to do anything at all. "Thanks to you, some bad moments came to my mind. It seems like you are prepared for what will happen next." "I say that right," the Demon King clarified. "What other bad moments? Could there be anything worse than meeting me?" the boss asked. "Of course," the young man shouted back at her. After he charged his body with the blood explosion technique, his health was reduced to 1. "His health has dropped to 1. The girl was amazed at how much her opponent's speed had increased. "You will pay with your life for your insolence," she said. But before she could do anything, the young man pierced her head. "How dare you touch my face?" she said angrily. "It was created specifically to be beaten. It seems that the mistress of the underworld does not know what real hell is." "Then let me show it to you," said the young man. Afterwards, she was attacked again many times. He only had 1 health point, and needed to avoid any attacks from his opponent for the next 10 seconds. During this time, he needed to inflict maximum damage. "He is so strong that the boss cannot fight him back," thought the spearman. The young man didn't even think about stopping at this time, and continued to beat up his mistress. His final blow sent her crashing into the ground. Covered in blood, she lay motionless. Looking at this, the braggart realized that it was indeed Adilasai in front of him. The young man meanwhile landed on the ground. This technique is very powerful. The damage it deals reduces health to 1. But then the young man is fully restored and reaches the maximum level of HP. Suddenly a spear flew past his hand. The maiden began to draw something with her sharp finger. "How dare you humiliate me, you bastard!" she screamed. Afterwards, her face and body became covered with thick armor. "I will consume your organs, one by one, liver, spleen, intestines, lungs, and gallbladder," she screamed. "Damn, all that effort was wasted," thought the spearman. "Come on, if you dare," the young man blurted out. Even now, in this position, he continued to be insolent to this huge green creature. The boss didn't wait long and attacked the guy. The poisonous flame began to spread in all directions. "I was too angry and accidentally killed him. Oh, I should have made fun of him so that he begged for death," the boss said. "Don't underestimate me," the living prince blurted out. "Why the hell are you still alive?" the maiden was indignant. "As long as I have this skill, your attacks are nothing to me," the Demon King said. "Stop leading me on and tell me how you, a stupid and worthless ant, survived," the angry monster asked. "Since you don't have much time left, I'll tell you," said the young man. "He left something on her body during one of the attacks." "And what is this?" the green creature asked. "This was one of the powerful cards with a skill. Enough time has passed since the activation, and it will work soon." "What nonsense are you talking about?" the enraged hostess screamed. "Activate the skill," the young man said. "The black hole trap, that's what it was called." After this, something black began to grow right in the opponent's chest. "Pitiful ant," the owner screamed before her imminent death. In a moment she turned into a ball, which immediately rushed to burst. "Ant?" the young man asked in surprise. "They're just digging the ground," he added thoughtfully. For killing the boss, the guy received 6,000 Conqueror points, and he also unlocked a difficult mission called the Demon King's Castle. It was a mid-level mission, and he became interested in the rewards for it. A skill was acquired, Hellmaster. It could be used to enhance the fire type. This innovation greatly amazed the young man's mind. "Well done, kid. You're not that simple," said the astrologer who appeared. The guy looked at him warily. "What is that in your hand? An item for changing profession. Give it back. You don't deserve it," the warrior in glasses blurted out. "Uncle, you can't do this. He saved my life. We shouldn't take anything from him," the girl intervened. "You are too naive. We must get this artifact at any cost. That was your father's order," said the astrologer. "Damn, I wasted my trump card on that incompetent boss. It would have come in handy now," the guy thought. A guard warrior and a boxer, both level 50, immediately appeared in front of the young man. "Don't even think about using this item, do you hear me?" "I saw everything," said the astrologer. "This maiden from the demon race is very important to you. Do as we say, then she will stay alive," he added. "Do you really think that I won't be able to stop you?" the spearman intervened. "You are just trash who can't do anything against us," the astrologer added. Guys, you are either too stupid or too self-confident. The guy suddenly laughed at this. This gesture greatly puzzled the warrior in glasses. If you kill her, I won't be able to stop it, the young man blurted out. But don't think you can stop me from getting rid of Jing, he added. Damn, he turned out to be smarter than I initially thought. It will be pretty difficult with him, the astrologer blurted out. Okay, I'll give you a chance, the prince said in response to this statement. I must divert all their attention to myself, and under no circumstances allow the demon maiden to suffer, the young man thought. Suddenly someone pulled a sword from its sheath. It was Jing. She told her uncle not to kill her savior. But the success of this mission to find an artifact that would allow her to change her profession was much more important to her relative than any ethical standards. Stay here until I deal with him, the astrologer blurted out. After this, the young man left the place where he was standing, and he came very close to his main opponent. But the warrior knight was ready to protect the guy with glasses at the cost of his life. He used his massive blue shield to buy himself time. The guy's blade quickly struck him. Even such an artifact could not penetrate the defense of this skilled defender. At this time, the astrologer began to create a spell in his hands. 5 fireballs were immediately flying towards the prince, but he managed to dodge such a massive attack. Meanwhile, dust rose on the battlefield, making it impossible for anyone to see anything. A boxer suddenly appeared in front of the guy. It was this blow that the Demon King decided to miss. Never did he think that he would have to fight so many opponents at once. Suddenly a horse appeared on the battlefield, which was not affected by the damage inflicted on it by the spearman. What was he doing here? The black-haired man suddenly thought. At that very second, his head came up with some brilliant idea. The guy immediately ran towards the horse. He wants to escape, stop him, the warrior knight screamed. He won't succeed, I foresaw it, said the astrologer. Afterwards, he activated his unique shooting star skill. Afterwards, I began to observe the fruits of my actions. The meteorite almost reached both the young man's body and the earth. The speed of the horse was extremely high. The idea was so close to being realized. Suddenly, the horse knelt down before the Demon King. The meteorite, meanwhile, reached the ground. A monstrous skill, thought the spearman, watching the battle of such strong warriors. The astrologer said, Examine the boy's body and take the item that will allow him to change his class. The dust mixed with ash began to gradually disperse. What? How can he still be alive? Thought the warrior in glasses. Shadows of a young man with a horse began to appear. Afterwards, he appeared before his opponents safe and sound. Sitting on his horse, the black-haired man began to approach his opponents. A turquoise flame immediately flew towards them. The warrior knight managed to react in time, and he activated the shield for himself and his comrades, hoping that it would help. But the barrier began to break rapidly from this attack. What kind of fire is this? He asked. The young man has just received a new profession, a necromancer knight. The horse was the key to the change. The astrologer realized this rather late. Damn, I hate riding, the guy said. If only I could replace my steed with another one, or even a motorcycle, he thought. Suddenly, the horse under the young man began to glow. Is he really going to attack? Asked the astrologer. The mount began to transform. And then, a second later, the guy was no longer sitting on a horse, but on a motorcycle. The boxer did not want to hesitate and attacked, but the guy managed to dodge this stupid attack. Then the fighter heard a roar above his head. A killer move, said the young man. The warrior wondered how he managed to outpace me in speed. Afterwards, the prince tried to crush the bastard. Damn, are you laughing at me? He asked aggressively. Killing you with one attack would be boring, the young man blurted out. Afterwards, magical chains appeared in the air. They hastened to wrap the prince's entire body. Oh, so that's what the control skill is, the black-haired man blurted out. You can't handle 3 strong players, the astrologer continued. Meanwhile, the brawler used his skill of unlimited strength. The warrior knight also decided to keep up with his comrades and activated a shield strike. The 3 tried to attack simultaneously. The guy just looked at them as if they were idiots. After such an attack, a huge explosion occurred. The prince managed to repel this attack. I already told you that I'm just practicing on you, he asked. The system then offered him to use the Master of Hell certificate. The prince's body began to rapidly become covered in blue flames. Because of this, his opponents also became enveloped in it. The astrologer could only look at this in bewilderment. His allies were paralyzed, turned to ice. With one deft move, he broke the lenses and gained experience for killing them. Then he approached the astrologer. The guy with glasses admitted his defeat and asked for a quick death. You're out of luck. I leveled up and got a new skill, the young man said. And what kind, I wonder, the astrologer asked fearfully. The black-haired man's hand was instantly enveloped in blue flame. Crowds of dead people began to appear behind the astrologer. Summoning the spirit of death. That was the name of his new skill. Kill him, the young man immediately commanded. The guy in glasses had no choice but to look at the rapidly approaching dead people. You bastard, you will die a miserable death, the astrologer cried out in despair. Quite simple, just ordinary bites, the prince reported. This ability had a special effect. It turned the victim into a zombie. It seems like I've become even stronger, the guy thought. For killing this bespectacled player, he received level 28. Now there is not much time left until his revenge. What was to be expected from a father, said the revived demon maiden. Suddenly the young man hit the one who saved her. The spearman flew quite far from such a blow. Don't you dare call me father, repeated the aggressively minded prince. Give me one reason why you deserve trust, the young man said. We have a common goal. I will help you kill Li Jiyu. Why do you want to betray the one who raised you? The perplexed guy asked. The chief had his own insidious plans for him, the maiden intervened. Perhaps he didn't realize that I discovered my unique abilities before him, the spearman blurted out. The copying skill allowed the guy to recognize his opponent's technique. To do this, it was necessary to touch the person's palm in a certain way. Li's main skill was special. It was called the domination of death. It was then that the braggart understood why the chief always looked at him like that. It was like they were slaughtering a pig in the village one time. The butcher's eyes gave away a lot without him realizing it. Damn, this bastard wants to get rid of me, the spearman was angry. It seemed like the truth, and could be trusted, the young man thought. I can go into more detail about the leader's skills if needed, the braggart added. Thanks to him, I was never persecuted, the maiden interceded, continuing to praise and exalt the one with whom she had a contract. Okay, since my daughter has trusted you, I will do it too, but for the time being, that we work together, the black-haired man said. My daughter, why have you become so weak? Asked the prince. The girl's power was sealed. The king decided to find out whose doing this was. The person behind this was Zhang Hao. This is the one who fought with the prince a long time ago. He survived the self-destruct attack. I underestimated him, the guy thought. The young man clarified what happened in the dungeon after my death. Slaughter, the Demon King's daughter replied slowly and with disgust. 4 people killed all the others and took the reward for themselves. What happened to the people? The guy suddenly screamed. Some were captured and later used as bait. There were also those who managed to escape from this hell. So my possessions are ruined, the young man said thoughtfully. Not at all. They did not close even after his death. The young man's face changed after hearing the information. I think it's because you're still alive, the maiden said. It seemed quite logical. It will be quite difficult to get there in the current reality, for the portal to this place is well guarded by one legendary man, a warrior with white hair and a hoop on his head. Zhang Hao himself is responsible for protecting this place. The astrologer's relative began to come to her senses. Opening her eyes, she looked at her savior, but with different eyes. What did you do to my friends and uncle? She asked. Don't worry, the young man replied. Brother, thank you for keeping them alive, she said. I meant that they are already in the next world, the prince added. Why are you doing this to them? Asked the maiden. They tried to kill me, so this is the best I could do. I protected myself and my friends, the young man said. They helped and took care of me, the crying and lost girl screamed. These good people killed everyone before meeting you, the guy retorted. So that's why I didn't see anyone, the spearman now understood. But they really did it for you, the young man blurted out. No way, you're a brazen liar, the girl was now angry. You decide, and we're leaving, said the young man, leaving her with the consequences of his actions. Why don't we kill her? Asked the demon maiden. Let her live. But if he comes to take revenge, the prince will not spare her. 3 days have already passed since then. The young man was walking in the park with his sister. It's him, the unfamiliar guys whispered. Quite an awkward situation. The necromancer knight is a legendary profession, the news suddenly reported. After the boss fight, there were 5 people left. The warrior who was giving the instructions was perplexed as to who had been given the honor of mastering the new profession. I have some kind of problem, the dark-haired man blurted out. The remaining fighters glanced frantically at each other. As expected, they weren't too happy. Afterwards, each of them began asking the guy to join the guild. In this world, the strongest survives. So he took a step in this direction and got a new profession. That girl didn't tell anyone the truth. They have a strange way of thinking. Big brother, why are you so angry? Asked his little sister. I thought for a bit, her brother answered her. After he became a player, he constantly spends his time thinking. If Xiao Xiao is happy, then he is too. Then I will try to be like this all the time, the joyful sister said. Afterwards, she suggested to her eldest to go to an amusement park. Suddenly she hit the back of the one walking in front of her. Why so hard? The maiden wondered. Sorry baby, are you okay? Asked the stranger in glasses. Everything is fine, it's my fault, so you forgive me, the maiden replied. The young man's face frowned in the meantime, and it seemed as if a fight or something of the sort was about to break out. The younger one was worried by his expression. Yes, please excuse us, he replied. The stranger also had a younger sister, and Xiao reminded him of her at that moment. It was nice to meet you, the guy in glasses said as we said goodbye. His sister watched him go kindly. The young man didn't understand why such an unimaginable threat emanated from a level 10 player. As experience has shown, the level and profession shown on the panel can differ, sometimes dramatically. Meanwhile, the stranger walked around the corner of the house. An unfamiliar hooligan was sitting on a bench in the distance. "You don't belong here, get out of here," he said. "I want to talk to your boss," the stranger said suddenly. "How did you find out about this place?" The bastard was angry. "Just move away," the guy in glasses asked politely. But the bully didn't care about the white-haired man's manners. He hit the poor guy. The blow was so strong that the stranger's nose started bleeding. "You'll only get in here over my dead body," the bastard said. "That's what I was originally going to do," blurted out the guy in glasses as he stood up. He added that he would deal with the punks right now and without any hesitation. Furniture and equipment were broken. The group of specialists that arrived at the scene discovered a mountain of corpses. This picture struck one of the investigators. He hurried to turn around and go out into the street in order to get rid of this morning's breakfast. In an instant, he immediately vomited. Dying in battle with a monster wouldn't be as terrible. They were all members of a gang of wild wolves. This was beyond all bounds, as more than 10 players were killed. The leader was level 50 and simply fell in battle. Here too, evidence of long torture was visible. Even though they were all scum, this was too much. "Guys, have you heard about purple blood?" asked one of the investigators. "This is the substance that this gang was selling." "So the killer came for her," the blonde clarified. The person who mentioned this mixture was not sure about it, but he reported that the creator of this substance had already been found. But they couldn't do anything with the man they found. The creator of the substance is the king of insects, Park Ilchin. The white-haired man believed that some major event might happen soon. The maiden, whom the young man saved in the dungeon, returned to her father. She hastened to apologize for the failed task. Her father turned out to be the one who guarded the entrance to Adhilasai's chambers. "It seems I need to do some cleaning again," he blurted out. Then the man folded his wings. What she saw greatly shocked the girl. A bunch of monsters were moving towards them. "For so many years this bastard never showed up," the warrior added. Then he armed himself with a huge pike. The bright light of the sun illuminated the undead. The warrior used God's light on the creatures. Afterwards, I decided to go on the offensive. This attack left behind a huge trace in the form of burnt earth. "Damn, missed again," said the warrior of the light side. In the distance, someone watched his further actions. "Will any of us be able to reach the human world?" asked the maiden. After all, their king is waiting for them there. Meanwhile, the gang's killer was lying on the grass and resting. He was looking at a photograph of a beautiful girl. "Wait a little longer, I'm already on his trail," he told the picture. "I remembered the day I killed the gang." The member of the organization did not know where their leader was. He could only beg for mercy. He added that he reported everything he knew. Then the guy with glasses said that he would make the bastards pay for their crimes. After that, he dealt mercilessly with the bastard. In a week, he will be able to get rid of his pain. Those with different paths and goals met one day, but soon fate will bring them together again. Meanwhile, a fight was taking place on the training ground between a young man and his samurai girlfriend. After the attack, the guys jumped away from each other. The girl noted that after changing professions, few people would be able to defeat the young man. "Fight with all your might," the prince ordered her. She started making excuses, saying she might offend. Then the young man suggested that she go where there was no one. The guys did just that. In the evening, they went to a clearing where there were only the two of them. The maiden asked him if he was ready. "Attack!" the young man answered her, armed with a blade. Asked her to work at full capacity. The friend wanted to show him that she was not an ordinary player. A purple aura formed around her. Her blade shone with a bright, blinding light. After this, the young man felt something was wrong. The energy emanating from the girl made him stagger. He admitted to himself that he felt death. Fortunately, he managed to activate the defense. Then the bright sun illuminated his face. Then the young man turned his gaze. Looking back, I wondered if this was the power of the awakened one. "Don't pay attention to the difference," the maiden asked him. Out of anger, the guy hit the ground with his blade. He envied her strength and abilities. "I remembered those bastards who killed him. They obviously became stronger too. I knew I shouldn't have used all my strength," the maiden thought. She wanted to comfort her friend and leave a good impression. All the prince's thoughts were only about how to become stronger in the shortest possible time. "System begin mission," he said. Right before the girl's eyes, the guy began to disappear. She didn't understand where her friend had gone. The Demon King found himself in a place that looked like a laboratory. Once there, he wondered where he had been teleported to. Suddenly there was an explosion. "There are monsters here. They must be destroyed," an unknown person reported. The boy looked at his hands and realized that they were green. Then he frantically shifted his gaze. Luckily, there was a mirror next to him. The young man wondered if I had become a goblin. He didn't think that everything would turn out exactly like this. All his items and skills were blocked. All that was left was to set off on the journey to get the quest item. Another explosion occurred near the goblin. Realizing that he was a weak monster, he decided to run away from here. "Why the hell is this goblin so hard to kill?" the magician asked himself. Among all this fire, I couldn't see anyone. Then he felt someone's presence behind him, but he turned around too late. A goblin armed with a dagger killed the bastard. This dungeon no longer seemed difficult to the guy. The other warriors, noticing the green monster, wanted to kill him. The goblin managed to overhear their conversation. Dodging arrows and fire, he fled the battlefield. The attacking players then set off to look for him. Disperse and search the area, one of them commanded. The young man's coloring allowed him to hide. Luckily, he was already close to the thing he was looking for. On the way to her, he muttered how the system had treated him unfairly. Suddenly, one of the people noticed the goblin. The green one's eyes were full of fury and determination. Without hesitation, he killed the one he met. Only then did the realization dawn on him. This goblin was stronger than the young man thought. This lightness began to alarm him. He knew there had to be a player here who would be impossible to handle. "Oh, so this is where you've been hiding, cutie," the stranger said. "Since you're the subject of an experiment, there's no point in running away," the guy added. Seeing him, the goblin decided to run away. Just when he thought about trouble, it found him. The guy just smiled in bewilderment at this. But the goblin didn't manage to run far. After all, a second later his body was cut into 2 parts. "So goblins have red blood," the killer said thoughtfully. The experiment was a failure. All that was left was to find someone to clean up the mess. After that, the guy and the praying mantis walked away. But the goblin was still alive and moved his hand. "Am I really going to die?" he asked himself. The core was almost in front of him, 1 step away. The goblin crawled towards him with the last of his strength. Finding himself near the treasured cube, he blurted out that here it is. "So this is the core of the chimera," he asked himself, looking at the artifact in fascination. Barely visible threads began to stretch from the cube to the young man. Then there were more of them, and the goblin began to absorb them. This way he unlocked the final mission and had to survive for an hour. "You're quite resilient," the guy heard behind him. His eyes immediately filled with anger. Hands began to fill with red energy. A moment later, the young man gathered his strength and rushed towards the people. He wanted only one thing to get rid of them. Then he grabbed both of them by the heads and smashed them against each other. Then parts of their bodies began to be consumed by green. Could these really be the core's abilities, the young man thought? Could I merge with the monsters, he wondered. Then he went to the laboratory, decided to test it on a sea creature. Without hesitation, the goblin smashed the tank containing the monster. This caused an alarm to sound throughout the entire complex. He actually succeeded. The creature was consumed. Scales began to appear on my shoulders and a little on my face. After this, a brilliant plan was born in his head. Without a second's hesitation, the young man began to break the capsules. The released monsters were quickly absorbed by him. By that time, little remained of the goblin's appearance. Instead of teeth, there were huge, sharp fangs. Massive, sharp horns appeared on the head. The bones have become much stronger. The enslaved creatures also strengthened his muscles. The chimera core worked wonders. By the end of evolution, people had managed to catch up. The 3-meter monster scared them greatly. The young man looked at them with a grin, and without any hesitation he began to take their lives. Their bodies also played a role in the evolution of the goblin. One of the survivors began to beg for mercy, but the young man didn't care. He used his sharp tentacles, which a second later pierced the poor guy's body. By this time the warrior and his praying mantis had arrived there. "So it's all because of you?" he asked. "It seems like you don't recognize me, but I don't blame you for that," said the green one. "You are that goblin, but how did you do it?" asked the fighter. "You'd better think about what awaits you ahead," the goblin advised. The praying mantis did not stand on ceremony and decided to attack. Green was amazed by his opponent's audacity. He looked at him with hatred. Then with one blow, he put an end to the monster's life. But there was a limit on absorption, and it was not possible to deprive the mantis of its powers. "So you did use the chimera core?" the warrior said. "I see you know a lot about him," the young man retorted. "It had many disadvantages, such as the fact that only monsters could use it." After his speech, the fighter attacked the goblin. Green was amazed by the speed of his opponent. He had no choice but to try to dodge this attack. "This bastard is strong. I wonder what his level is," the young man thought. "It doesn't matter how many you manage to absorb," said the fighter who appeared behind him. The warrior then created a phantom sword in his hand, and he struck the guy many times with this blade. It was then that the green one realized that he was dealing with an awakened player. No matter what he does, he is unlikely to be able to defeat this freak. After the last attack, the goblin needed to recuperate. "Your regeneration is good. It seems to be thanks to the dragon lizard," the fighter said. "I'll kill you and then analyze the body," he added. The goblin only became more angry at what he heard. A large amount of smoke appeared behind him. "Not bad. The abilities of a ghost," the awakened one responded to this. "Okay, I'll play by your rules," the warrior added. "You're thinking too much when faced with a strong opponent," the green one said. And he started to run away from here after that. There was very little time left before the mission was completed. The young man noticed purple lights appearing next to him. In a moment, they transformed into threads and tied him up. They were quite strong, and it was not easy to get rid of them. "It's a pity that you lost so quickly," the warrior who appeared blurted out. "Apparently you are destined to become prey," he added. It wasn't so easy to escape from the predator. The destroyer's venom was insane, and the goblin was facing a painful death. "Even if I die, I will take you with me," the young man blurted out. After these words, an explosion occurred on the battlefield. The fighter cleared his throat after this, as he remained alive. "You dirty creature, you have soiled me with your tricks," he said. Then the skin on his face began to flow. "And who of us is the prey now?" the goblin intervened. The warrior was beside himself with anger. He immediately became indignant at how such a creature had the right to disfigure his face. After this, a lot of bugs came out of his mouth. The little creatures covered the young man's entire body. "Your death is near," the fighter shouted. The goblin responded that he had collected enough information about his opponent. "Ha, you can't defeat me," the warrior blurted out. Then a weapon appeared in his hand, which he hastened to take advantage of by attacking the green one. But the goblin responded by declaring that he had already won, because the warrior's attack did not cause any harm to the creature. An hour passed. The mission was completed. The prince needed to return to the fight with his girlfriend. "I almost died there," he said, finding himself on the training ground. For this mission, he received an artifact, the egg of a mysterious monster. "I wonder what will become of him," said the young man. This was the best reward for completing the dungeon. But this was only the first prize. The second was the Chimera Cube. He already had grandiose plans for this artifact. Afterwards, he immediately opened the gates to his dungeon. They were no longer sealed. It was full of all kinds of monsters. It was time to find out who would emerge from the merger. In total, the guy had 4 types of creatures. The lowest is a zombie, then a skeleton mage who could use spells. The third one is an elite sea monster, and the strongest one is the skeletal demonic dragon. At first, the young man wished to unite the 2 zombies. The fusion of these creatures immediately occurred, but this was not enough. A stronger monster was needed. Then the young man came up with the idea of uniting all the monsters. At this rate, he managed to bring out the zombie kings. Their level was 25. Now the guy had elite warriors. Afterwards, he decided to unite the 2 royal zombies, but the system forbade him to do so. Then I decided to cross a magician and a fat man. Thus, the undead of the 30th level appeared. He continued crossing until he had used up all the mages. The guy wanted to create a new boss. He succeeded. A level 40 demon emerged. At that moment, someone was flying up to the young man. It was a dragon that wielded blue fire. Then the prince decided to use him too. The second element was an improved zombie. Suddenly, players invaded his dungeon. "Ha! New material," the young man blurted out. The unsuspecting warriors walked calmly through the dungeon. One of the fighters was worried that they had not met anyone yet. Then my friend calmed me down, saying everything was fine. They hoped to encounter the lowest level zombies. Ahead in the fog, shadows began to appear. The naive fighters immediately rushed into battle. But a moment later, their heads flew back to their feet. "These are low-level zombies. Why are you so frail?" the chief blurted out. Then the defeated began to say that everything was not so. Zombie kings appeared before the warriors. The head was shocked by what he saw. Someone from the team decided to leave this place while there was still time. But magic immediately fell upon the deserter. It was an attack by a skeleton mage. "Let's just attack them in their vulnerable spots," the leader ordered. A demon, the new boss of this location, appeared behind the zombies. The warriors were seriously scared when they saw him. The head began to pray to his mother for help. The material had been obtained, and the young man was already ready to begin the merger. He decided not to delay, and so he did. The warriors' bodies were digitized, and immediately they began to be absorbed by a huge dragon. This procedure made the prince nervous. The monster and the people united into one huge ball. The facial features of a humanoid creature appeared. "My lord, what are the orders?" the individual asked. "A level 60 demon has appeared." The maiden asked the young man to give her a name. Then the prince thought for a second. "A mighty, invincible heavenly dragon, that's what the guy called her." "As long as you like it, you can call me that," said the maiden. "No, it's too long. You're just a demon dragon," the prince blurted out. The dragon said that he was ready for even all sorts of obscenities. These thoughts of hers worried the young man. The guy wanted to know her strength and offered to fight. Virgo said she would like a fight on the bed. "Be more serious," the young man said angrily. Then he immediately attacked his creation. But she easily stopped the master's attack. It seemed to him that the dragon was playing with him. Afterwards, the young man used a blood explosion. In 1 second, he left the place where he stood, and he hastened to attack his opponent. But the maiden easily repelled his attack. She used a skill called Dragon Roar. The guy managed to get into her attack, but then he managed to escape from this tornado. With a control-type skill, she could easily destroy the young man. Then all that was left of the girl was a shadow in the air. She managed to appear silently behind the prince. Then she asked the guy if he was happy with her. Damn, she's strong, the Demon King caught himself thinking. Thanks to her power, the young man could now cope with the awakened ones. The maiden could not allow her master to see her true form. Then the prince had a great idea. Tomorrow there would be an auction. It was time for him to get back the thing that belonged to Adilasai. I'll pay you back with interest, people, he added. At this time, the guy with purple hair was studying the contents of the flask. So weak, he said. Are you saying that all the channels have been destroyed? The guy asked. Yes, boss, he's acting like a madman, said the subordinate. You're too much trouble, the Insect King blurted out. Do you mean to say that he followed me here? The warrior was afraid. The chief did not hesitate and tore his man's face off. A huge fountain of blood came out of his head. Then a parasite crawled out of her. Someone began to approach the leader closer. The unknown man was burning with rage. Park Il-chan, I finally found you, the white-haired man blurted out. I think I've already killed you, the leader said. So arrogant despite being beaten by a goblin. Give it to Xiao He and you will die painlessly, the white-haired man declared. There was no dialogue and the maddened guy attacked. Pak experienced unimaginable pain. He broke through the windows of the mansion with his body. The white-haired man wasted no time and attacked again. Pak couldn't do anything. The guy with glasses was very close, and then he took a swing. Another blow sent the bastard far away, but he managed to get the dagger during the flight, and he threw it at the red madman. In this way he managed to slightly injure his opponent. With his body, Pak knocked down trees for about 200 meters. The white-haired man immediately landed next to the enemy. You are an ordinary berserker. Where does such strength come from? He exclaimed. Isn't it obvious? The madman asked. I'm also an awakened player, he added. How did you manage to do this considering you were only level 30 recently? Asked Pak. The condition of awakening was to be cut into pieces. Afterwards, the red guy used the rage of the fighting soul. His fist filled with power, and he hastened to attack the bastard. Pak realized the situation he was in, and he decided to dodge before it was too late. An explosion immediately occurred on the battlefield, but both fighters survived. Then Pa exhaled nervously, and he asked his opponent why his strength had increased so much. Bloodthirsty Rakshasa. Passive bloodlust. Normally his strength grows the same as the player who changes profession. But when he gets injured, his strength increases. I'll give you one last chance. Tell me where Xiao Ye is, the white-haired man asked. You'll never know about it. Don't even dream about it, the bastard blurted out. Then the guy said that he would find another way, and threatened Pak with a quick death. Suddenly the ground beneath him began to break. A bony hand appeared and grabbed the warrior. As soon as it became a threat to his life, he stopped fighting. Then the madman became even more angry. A huge skull immediately appeared above his head. Who attacked the guy with magic? Pak, you look terrible right now, the shadow said. I never thought that you wouldn't be able to even defeat a player who had just recently awakened, let alone all sorts of scum, the unknown person added. Quickly after him, he is badly wounded. Don't let the threat grow, Pak blurted out. Suddenly a bony hand touched the bastard's neck. Don't you dare talk to me like that. You're just a dog that I raised, the black-haired man blurted out. Promise purple blood or you die, he added. Damn it. Once I get the item I need at tomorrow's auction and heal my wound, I won't have to hold back anymore, the purple-haired boy thought. The next day did not take long to arrive. The guys were amazed by the number of stalls. There was a huge amount of weapons and equipment here, but the security of this place was lame. Strong players visited this place, so there shouldn't have been any problems. Indeed, no one could rob this place, the young man thought. Then he asked his girlfriend for a favor. But the boys were distracted by the prince's sister, who was already arguing with someone. I'm older than you, so give it to me, the unknown girl insisted. Only if you admit that you're an old hag, the sister blurted out. I admit it, and now give it back, the maiden said. You are a bad person and a rude woman, the red-haired girl heard. What happened? Asked the young man. If you're making fun of my sister, you have only yourself to blame, he added. Aunt E, the prince's friend, suddenly stood up for him. Nana, the red-haired girl clarified. It turns out the girls knew each other. Are these your friends? Asked the aunt. Yes, Nana answered her. Then the red-haired girl spread her hands, and she gave the plant into the hands of the young man's sister. Your father would be proud of you, Nana, she added. Don't forget to water it with your blood. It was addressed to my sister. Who is she? The black-haired man clarified. She was the only healer among those who awakened. How old is she? Asked the young man. She was about 50 years old. Xiao's subject was obviously not an easy one, since the maiden wanted it so much. Why did you quarrel with her? The young man asked his sister. She wanted to take the flower away from me, the child answered. And the maiden wanted to give it to her brother. It was not just a plant, but a sunset flower. And why was the Queen of Medicine so interested in him? I'm ready to buy it, the young man told the seller. $2,000, the merchant answered. I'll pay myself, my sister insisted. I wonder what for, the young man asked. It turns out that she had been saving all this time. Then the prince allowed her to pay. Then the boys sat down on a bench and tried to understand what was special about this object. The system reported that it was an ordinary flower. Maybe it has something to do with our professions, my friend asked. They allow certain attributes to be revealed. The doctor had a special ability for analysis. Do you remember what E told you before she left? Asked the maiden. Water the plant with blood. Without thinking for a second, the young man bit his finger and dropped it on the petal of the plant. Suddenly the flower increased in size. There was some kind of creature sitting inside him. The friend was amazed by what she saw and seemed to begin to understand something. Then the cocoon opened, and from it appeared a flower fairy. She was very happy to see her friends. Compared to the young man, the maiden was very small. It seems like she saw the master in you, her friend noted. But the prince did not understand what was so special about her. Since Aunt Ye wanted to get her so much, it means there must have been some kind of ability. The fairy didn't like that a stranger grabbed her and she rushed to bite her friend. Damn, she's very fierce, the samurai noted. The young man didn't understand why all the monsters he met were so clingy. My friend suddenly started feeling jealous. The fairy looked haughtily at the samurai girl. Damn, this bitch is deliberately provoking me, thought my friend. This little girl had a lot of bad thoughts. Suddenly a huge elephant appeared in the park. Several warriors tried to stop him. What is he doing here? The young man asked himself. Haven't you seen the news? Asked a man passing by. One maniac broke into the zoo and released absolutely all the animals, saying that they should regain their freedom and not be slaves. Yes, the world is huge and there are all kinds of people in it. That's what the young man answered. Okay, we have to go. The auction is about to start, he added. The little sister was happy because her brother could buy her a lot of different goodies. He just looked kindly at his little sister. The number of people in this place greatly amazed him. There was a special room in this place for awakened players. Excellent. You can take my sister there, the young man clarified. At the same time, he himself was going to sit in line like an ordinary person. Sorry, I was so rude, my friend said. He was definitely not the type to enjoy using someone else's strength. The prince wondered why she suddenly apologized to me. Brother, I'm going with Sister Nana, Xiao said. Finally, the young man could do everything himself. It seems he had to stand in line for a long time. He needed to find a corpse to control. After some time, his turn came. Hey kid, don't bother me, said the cheeky guy, pushing the Demon King. How dare you, blurted out the fat man who was also in line. I am Shu Ting from the Divine Dragon Guild. Don't make enemies for yourself, the impudent man advised. The prince did not like this statement. As soon as the bastard let his guard down, the young man put his hand on his shoulder. Do you have something to say? Asked the impudent man. Thanks to his technique, the prince realized that the bastard was from the guild that Li Yu led. Suddenly, the black-haired man announced that he admired the impudent fellow. Ha, boy, you have good eyesight, said the one who overtook the young man in line. Then the prince voluntarily let him go ahead. After some time, the impudent fellow went to the toilet. He enjoyed the process, whistling a tune. But all this time the prince pursued the bastard. Having waited for the moment, he pierced his body with a blade. He, without saying anything else, fell onto the wet floor. Since you are in a hurry, you will become my corpse, said the young man. Meanwhile, the auction had already begun. The black-haired man, carrying the bastard on himself, informed everyone that he was very drunk. He hoped his plan would go smoothly. The guy's sister and girlfriend were sitting in VIP seats at the time. Let's try to find our little brother, Xiao suggested. Nana, you're here too. And where's your boyfriend? Blurted out the red-haired girl who suddenly appeared. Aunt E, what are you talking about? The girl was playing the fool. Dirty old woman, let go of your little sister, Xiao screamed. Then they started talking about jealousy. At this time, someone approached them. Your arguments are making my ears wilt, said the creator of the toxin. Oh, it's you, sick child, Aunt E blurted out. Don't talk to me like that. I haven't yet taken revenge on you for refusing to treat me, the guy threatened. If necessary, I will crush you like a bug if you threaten me. The red-haired girl got angry. Fight! It will give you something to relieve boredom, the unknown woman blurted out. Finally, a show worthy of my attention, she added. The maiden then expressed a desire to join the possible fight. Crazy, what are you talking about? The guy wondered. Guys, don't be angry because anger is harmful to the body, the old man intervened. Silly beetle, consider yourself lucky today, the auntie continued. Damn, you turned me on, Fujiwara said. If you cause trouble, you will lose your membership in the underground fight club, the old man said. I'll punch your master in the face and that's it, the crazy maiden retorted. Thank you, madam, the grandfather answered her. When my brother wakes up, he will become like them, Xiao worried. Okay, there are 4 more people besides Nana, the young man thought. Why does this bastard seem familiar to me, he reasoned, looking at the creator of the toxin. Suddenly the curtain began to open a little. Everyone remain calm. The auction is about to begin, the host announced. The first lot was an ascetic helmet. The owner of this equipment received a passive provocation skill. Who needs this crap? They cried out indignantly from the stands. Idiots don't even know how terrible this helmet is, thought the prince. The starting bid for the lot is 1 million. I'll double it, the pumped-up warrior suddenly said. It was a good artifact for protection. He wanted to get it. The 69th doubled. Now the helmet was worth 2 million. A moment later, the price doubled again. Contestant number 64 laughed sarcastically. After all, he asked for 5 for the artifact. It was a specially hired scammer. Then the massive one offered 5 and 2 million. 3 seconds later, the lot was sold at that price. The young man quickly saw through the fake price collectors. The second lot is the victory bell. When he calls, all of the players' stats will increase for a while. The 66th offered 4 million. A command artifact, just what the prince needed. The fake one took part again. Then the black-haired man suggested 5 and 4. Then the bastard raised the price a little again. He liked to play with people, treating them like puppets. Are there any other contenders? The host asked. Damn, why doesn't he add more? The substitute was indignant. His face was filled with fear. I've reached my limit. I've lost, the young man said sarcastically. Someone was approaching the auction site. The man in the suit told the stranger that he should have come earlier. Step aside if you value your life, the white-haired man barked. The time was approaching when there were 2 lots left. The highlight of the program has not yet been shown. Then the presenter was about to reveal the secret. This was the legendary weapon of Adilisai. No one but the owner could use it. Wait, kids, I'll take everything from you, thought the young man. The old man wanted to give this sword to the one who spent the most at the auction. So, the next product will be, said the old man. The last lot began to roll up to him. Aren't these the Wright brothers? And Ryan, one viewer asked another. What kind of treasure is this that 2 such strong warriors will represent it? The final lot was the Celestial God's Vice, a legendary healing item that healed its owner and removed negative effects. Damn, they can also revive. I need that, the young man thought. The lowest bid is 1 billion. The Insect King doubled. If we don't put the lot up for auction, Pac will take revenge on us, thought one of the spectators. Damn, it's as if I know him, the young man reasoned. I remembered when I was in the form of a goblin, he was more attractive, I realized. Black-haired. Let's see who decides to compete with me, said Pac. This is my starting subject, so don't even think about it, my aunt blurted out. She doubled the bid, and the lot was now worth 8 billion. Then the 65th doubled again. Who could it be, Pac wondered. Oh, how interesting, Fujiwara said. It's just a corpse. That guy is controlling it, she thought. Since it's you, I'll play with you, the maiden continued. This guy is Li Yu's subordinate, Pac wondered. They deliberately want to buy back what they sell. Then he raised the price to 20. The old man was shocked by how tense the passions were. Auntie increased the bet by 5 billion. The young man doubled the price of the lot. Then Pac came back into the game, increasing to 90. The young man did not give in, and the lot became worth 100. But Pac needed this artifact at any cost. Come on, let the countdown begin. My plan must come to fruition, the black-haired man thought. 1, 2, shouted the old man. Then a white-haired man appeared on the podium. That's it, the artifact was served for 100. Let's get started with the plan, thought the young man. Suddenly, a bright purple flash illuminated the trading. A dungeon just appeared here. The guys from the VIP zone watched closely to see what would happen next. The young man needed chaos so that his zombie could steal everything and hide it in the dungeon. The now familiar turquoise flame appeared at the auction. One of the warriors began to try to do something. Ha, yes, I can handle this alone, the warrior blurted out. How arrogant you are, said the demon that the prince created. 2 of the brothers began to boast about their status. Suddenly, someone jumped straight towards the purple portal. It was the white-haired guy himself. Damn, he followed us all the way, Puck said. What the hell is going on, the young man thought. Park Ilchan, shouted the guy the young man met in the park. Come on, get your ass here, the white-haired man shouted. Then he repeated his order. I'll rip your fake face apart. The guy didn't calm down. Pac was on edge, but for now he was watching. Damn, he's crazy, the old man thought. Doesn't the stranger know whose territory this is? Meanwhile, the muscular man received a call. He turned his gaze to the phone screen. It was Liu Yi. He didn't understand why they were bothering him. After all, he arrived at a place where someone had destroyed the entire zoo. Don't pick up the phone. It could be a death message. I'll help you organize the funeral later, the awakened one said. He wants to return these animals to the wild. You are such a bastard, Li Yu said. Damn, what should I do now? The old man didn't understand. I am Arkan, here only for justice, the white-haired man screamed. Puck kidnapped his sister and used her as a source of purple blood. So that's where it came from, was heard from the stands. Many of the players used it as a drug. This potion had a special effect. It could turn ordinary people into players. Could this be possible? The young man thought. People also develop an addiction to this drink. What do you say to this, bastard? Asked the enraged Arkan. Ha, and what should I say? Said Puck. After all, those who needed it took it voluntarily. And this guy's sister was a monster who escaped from the dungeon into the human world. How can you treat a monster like that? He's gone crazy. People were indignant. Sister Nana, what's wrong with her being a monster? Asked the little sister. They had no power and were expendable, the samurai replied. The players have been brainwashed and they believe it. Ha, no one will help you, Archon, said Pak. Your wounds have healed, so let's continue, he said. Suddenly someone's scream was heard. Archon was taken aback by what he saw. The zombie that the young man had subdued went mad. This is Shuiting. He went out hunting. The trading member became worried. Dragon demon, I have changed my plan, thought the prince. Kill everyone here, the black-haired man commanded. As you wish, sir, said the maiden. A diamond-shaped mark appeared on her forehead. The entire huge hall was enveloped in turquoise lights. Then there was a powerful explosion, and scary plants began to appear on the floor. They had mouths with sharp teeth sticking out. Such terrible destruction, the monster's power was high. Let's save our brother, Xiao cried. Such an attack is unlikely to harm him, her friend replied. Leave this child with me, suggested the ant. One of the guys was buried under rocks. As he was rising, fireballs appeared in the hall. Turning his gaze forward, he saw that such a thing was flying straight towards him. After this, a powerful explosion thundered. The young man put on his outfit and mask. Since no one wants to help you, said the unknown person, then I'll do it, he finished. Meanwhile, the trading floor was turning into hell. Zombie kings emerged from the portal. The earth shook from these horrors. Enormous plants appeared and captured the prince's minions. But they were all defeated. After the artificially created boss appeared, all this has already gone beyond the confines of one hall and has spread into the city. Pak, who was watching the boss, was suddenly distracted. A huge fireball was flying towards him. He managed to dodge this attack. Shuiting, he said thoughtfully. Meanwhile, the unknown person created another ball. Paku urgently needed to change his location. Where did you get such courage? Asked the insect king. Well, since you seek death, I will give it to you, he added, jumping from the roof. The distance to the unknown was rapidly decreasing. Then he saw a fist next to his face. The blow sent him into the nearest wall. Archon appeared on the battlefield. He looked at the result of his blow. Damn it, Pak blurted out. Then he repeated his curses. The mask was broken by such a blow. It infuriated him that he, having awakened, was badly wounded by such a blow. These scum managed to get on my head, he said. Where did you hide my sister? Asked Archon. Today, an unknown person intervened. Then a red pole began to approach him. In an instant, the mystery man was destroyed. A dragon maiden appeared behind and destroyed the pillar. It's good that I have a useful skill, said the unknown person. You are a pile of garbage, how dare you, Nana said. How dare you kill my Zhou Qing, she suddenly blurted out. It turned out to be him who was the mysterious man, so he felt ashamed of the stupid woman. You almost killed my master, I will take revenge, the dragon maiden blurted out. Damn, I'm being humiliated again, said the young man. Two maidens clashed in battle. They moved at an unimaginable speed. Let's kill Pak quickly, Archon suggested. The insect king could think of nothing better to do than to escape. Then the prince used the dragon's roar. Archon did not want to delay and joined in. With his blow, he cut the bastard's body into several pieces. Damn, it's just a piece of empty space, he said. He couldn't escape. The young man joined in. Then his face frowned. After all, he saw the bastard. He was standing on the playground. In his hand was an artifact that was supposed to be auctioned for 100 billion. To heal his wounds, Puck drank from the cup. Damn, we need to hurry, Archon blurted out. Then he attacked the insect king. But the bastard easily repelled the attack. He also called this jerk very weak. He struck Arhan with all his might. Then he made many more single shots. Still want to save your sister? Dream on, the bastard blurted out. Then he began to create an insect in his hand. He was going to plant his parasite into his opponent, in order to subjugate the white-haired one to his will. Hey, stupid insect, I'm tired of you, the young man blurted out. You're not the only one who wants all the auction items, he added, taking up his legendary sword. Do you think you are Adilasai? Asked Pak. The young man didn't care. He broke the container that contained the blade. Exactly, I am he, the prince said. Since you know who I am, I will kill you, added the black-haired man. After that, the mask fell off his face. His hair turned ash-colored, his eyes blue. At that moment, a black funnel formed in the sky. Such a terrifying aura, Nana said. This can't be, Pak said. Adilasai's strength began to return. All the demons are here, he said. Something started happening with the portal to the Demon King's kingdom. The one who was guarding him noticed this. He looked closely at the gate. Then I wondered if it was outside. Then he left that place like a bullet. The demon guards were surprised by his behavior, because he had not left the portal for so many years. All this time he was waiting for the king, the red demon reasoned. Had Adilasai really returned to the human world? He asked his comrades. They could have sent one of their own to search. Let me go. I am the best at hiding and searching, the maiden suggested. Okay, we'll do our best, the red one said. Meanwhile, a dragon entered the battlefield. How you got me? Li Yu screamed. The power that is in your body is something that an ordinary player cannot have, the Beast King declared. Today there will be one less awakened player, Li Yu said. Suddenly something intervened in their fight. Has he really returned? The blonde asked. The opponent gritted his teeth at what he heard. All this time there was a cat sitting under the cloak. He means Adidasaya, he asked. Okay, it was time to get out of here for now, thought the cat. Li Yu fell to his knees, shocked by this information. He's back, said other powerful players in this world. Lightning flew across the battlefield with Pak. You really are Adilasai, he clarified. The young man discovered a new skill, Demon King's Descent. Even if it was the fate of inherited attributes, it was still 10 times more than what it was. At this time, Nana managed to defeat the Dragon Maiden. So this is the power of the master, the monster clarified. Adilasai, the enraged Nana blurted out. Bastard, she added and rushed onto the battlefield. How dare you kill my father, the maiden cried. He only had a minute, and he couldn't waste time on her. The girl attacked him several times. How did he dodge it, but I got hit, she thought. I killed your father. I'd better think about his allies at the time, the Demon King said. Then he stabbed the girl in the neck. Wait here, he added. Now it's your turn, Pak, the young man said. I'm much stronger than this torment, so don't get too cocky, the Insect King blurted out. He used the Insect God's parasite ability. A mask appeared on his face, and the whole body was covered in massive armor. You will die in my agony. I can't wait to receive a reward for you, said the King of Insects. Afterwards, he attacked the reincarnated one. Adilasai's head started bleeding. Purple energy began to emanate from Pak's body. It began to spread rapidly across the battlefield. Then Pak attacked the young man. In this dust, he was unable to see the hand that was reaching towards his face. Adilasai grabbed him by the throat. Now it's my turn, the young man added. The skill, Elemental Explosion, was activated. Then he used the next technique, Frost Blast. A tornado appeared on the battlefield. After this, the energy disappeared from the prince's hands. After his attack, the young man left behind scorched earth. Pak was killed, -1 awakened player. Then the guy began to transform back. His hair became dark again. Archon rose to his feet. Why did you kill him? Only he knew where my sister was, said the white-haired man. Are you going to teach my master? Asked the Dragon Maiden. Calm down, he's still alive, said the young man. After all, there was no notification of the murder yet. The prince forced Pak to use his trump card. A month of pumping him up was wasted. A woman's legs appeared behind him. He immediately turned his attention to them. One of the awakened maidens lifted him up. There's still one awakened left here, scum, she said. The boys were amazed to see her. Why didn't I notice her before, the young man thought. Deal with them and I'll pay, the insect screeched. Shut up already, the girl muttered. Then she imprisoned the insect. Let's make a deal, Adilasai, she said. The prince wondered how he knew who I was. I have a business proposal for you, she continued, not calming down. Prison with Pak became a gift for the young man. Oto deftly managed to catch her. Put it in your inventory, the maiden ordered. We will defeat her, said the dragon girl. Then the awakened one laughed. You're like a bunch of children, she blurted out. Then her face became serious. If you speak out against me, there will be no living place left on you, she said. A strange energy of fear enveloped the prince. Your strength is not enough to resist me, even if you are awakened, she added. 10 minutes would have been enough for her. You don't have much time. That guy will be here soon, the maiden added. You can run. I will hide your identities, but you owe me, the awakened one said. Can we really trust you, the young man asked. Do you have a choice? The maiden retorted. In 10 days, he had to come to her to discuss the deal. The young man wondered what she had in mind. Then he ordered his assistant to hide all the items from the auction in the dungeon. Give me Pak, asked Akran. The young man said that he had a way to obtain information. I won't remain in debt if you help me, said the white-haired man. Then the young man took his girlfriend. I told my new friend where he could hide for a while. Once I heal my wounds, no one will be able to compare to me, said Ahran. Why did your level drop? Asked the prince. In combat mode, his strength increases to 75. Then there is a safer place for you, the young man said. Lightning flashed through the air. It was the guardian of the Demon King's chambers. Where is Ahdilasai? It was definitely his power, he said. Yes, it was indeed the Demon King, the awakened one informed him. Where did he go? Asked the guard. He became a different character, and he now has a different name. Zhu Ting of the Dragon Society, the awakened one added. Meanwhile, the young man and his friend returned to the estate. The girl was put to rest so that she could regain her strength. Everything will be fine with her, the little sister worried. Aunt Ye intervened. The wound was serious, but she had the right medicine. All this is not necessary, the butler said. He had previously treated his wife pettily and could no longer make such mistakes. Then the old man thanked Joe for his help. I should thank her. Now it's time for the meeting. Maybe I'll find out about the Demon King, the young man blurted out. When he was sure that his friend would be taken care of, he left. It was time to think about the next steps. A few steps forward. He hurried into the building where many adventurers had gathered. Zhu Ting was shown on the news. This man was dangerous, and if anyone saw him, they should report him to the police. Onlookers began to discuss his alleged pogrom at the auction. There was no information about Ahdilasai there. The lady, as she promised, did not turn him in, but the young man did not understand what she was planning. He needed to help Richan, as he was already tired of waiting. The young man went into the dungeon. A bright purple flash lit up the sky. A portal opened into the young man's created world. "Give me that bastard. You said you knew how to find my sister," Aran said. Then the prince pulled out a cube from his inventory. "Calm down. You don't have to hide anymore. That girl didn't give us away," the black-haired man said. "I don't care. I just want to free my sister," he blurted out. "Okay, let him out," the guy commanded. Pack, in the form of an insect, immediately began to threaten the young man with violence. "Do you want to go and feed the chickens?" asked the black-haired man. "If you do this, you will never know where your sister is," Pak said. "I'll help you if you kill that demon," the insect added. "Stop imagining, come on, talk, otherwise I will crush you," Akron declared. "Have you completely lost your fear I'm the only one who has this information?" the beetle blurted out. Time was running out too quickly. It was time to act. What happened next amazed both Akron and the Dragon Maiden. "I will show him how terrible death is," said the young man. Then the guy opened the portal with his hand. "Now she will decide what to do with you," the prince said. "Is this a hidden dungeon?" the white-haired man exclaimed. "Follow me. I have a plan," the young man blurted out. Then the boys went to the place from which the vampire maiden could not leave. The prince handed the beetle to his comrade, and he said, "Let him stay with you for now." Then the black-haired man armed himself with his sword, and he stuck it into the ground. Akron watched this closely. A blue, frightening energy emanated from this blade. It spread throughout the castle. Then the young man looked at the result of his actions. In one of the tunnels, red, frightening eyes appeared. Then sparkling energy appeared from there. Someone flew out of there like a bullet. The creature was rapidly approaching the young man. It was a vampire. She was glad that Ahdilasai had returned to her. "Now take your hands off him. You're not supposed to touch him." The dragon maiden was indignant. "What business is it of yours?" the vampire intervened. The girl's hands clasped. A small scuffle started between them. Then they began to discuss each other's appearance. "You two, that's enough," the young man separated them. "Sai, I need your help," he said. "Of course I will do everything," the vampire answered. "Give the bug to her. She will figure it out," the young man said. "Beat the information out of him by any means necessary," he conveyed to the vampire. "Hey, worm, we'll sort this out now," said the maiden. "I am actually the king of insects and awakened," the beetle squealed. Then the maiden touched his body with her nail. He squealed in pain. "I don't know how long it will take. I'll take him to the torture room," the vampire blurted out. The young man even felt sorry for him. It was raining outside at that time. A wounded cat was wandering down the street. Then, exhausted, he fell onto the wet asphalt. His wound was too serious. No one would help him. Then he saw a figure in the distance. Shadows hid her face. The animal found her scent familiar. At this time, the young man went down to the torture room. "He agrees to talk, provided that you spare him," the vampiress stated. Although she was sure that the beetle would give everything away without this. "Take me to him," the prince asked. The doors to the torture chamber swung open. "Have mercy on me, I'll tell you everything," squealed the beetle chained to the wall. "I promise that I will spare you. Tell me where my sister is," the young man asked. To the north there were deserted hills. There stood one unremarkable house. Under it was a laboratory. "If anything happened to her, you're in trouble," Ahran said. The boys didn't waste any time and were already running through the forest. Then they reached the cliff. Noticing the house, the white-haired man asked if it was him. The coordinates were correct. "Don't you think this could be an ambush?" asked Akran. Pak, due to his temperament, was not particularly trusting. So, having gained access to purple blood, it is unlikely that he would have said anything about it. But there was still a bit of a trap here. "Nightmare beetle, level 40 boss. You called him a little dog," the white-haired man clarified. The creature hurried to jump out of the house, breaking the roof. "You're quick," said the young man. The monster was about to attack. And so it happened. The prince dodged without difficulty. Then it was time for the prince to attack. "Did you hear anything?" he began. Then, having hit the bastard, he continued to explain about hospitality. This blow knocked out the monster. Then he decided to finish it off and started creating magic in his hand. A fireball appeared in the guy's hand. Then he hastened to envelop the bastard in fire. In this way he managed to demolish the house, under which the basement was visible. The boys hurried to jump inside. The interior of this place resembled an ancient crypt. It was as if no one had visited this place for many years. The marks on the walls seemed familiar to him. Then the young man turned his gaze to Akran, who had already run away. The white-haired one has already found his sister. Her body was in a special incubator. Akran hastened to remove the tubes from her body. "I'm sure she'll be back to normal soon, since her body has begun to regenerate," the young man said. The white-haired brother took his demon sister He in his arms. "Let's take her to my dungeon. There are many medicines there that will help her," the prince suggested. That's what the guys did. There is everything you need here. If you need anything, ask my dragon. But now I have things to do, the young man blurted out. If you need help, I am at your service, said Akron. Thus the prince managed to find another instrument man. It was time to put an end to this. Mr. Adilasai, did you miss me? Asked the vampiress. Let's go to my room and indulge in nostalgia, she screamed. Wait, I need to talk to the beetle first, he said. The damn insect is ruining everything, thought the maiden. Found it, asked the chained beetle. Then keep your promise, he added. That's not all. Do you remember that goblin who wounded you? Asked the young man. Are you going to make fun of me? The beetle clarified. No, I'm just wondering when it happened, the prince replied. It was about 10 years ago. It would be better if you don't bring this up, the insect blurted out. The young man wondered if it was really the dungeons that distorted time and space so much. Will you free me or not? Asked the beetle. Of course, only if you don't beg me otherwise, the prince blurted out. What are you planning? Pak wondered. Come in, the young man ordered the vampire. Torture but do not kill. As soon as he asks for death, call me, the demon king ordered. Okay, I will fulfill your request, the maiden blurted out. Meanwhile, Nana had already come to her senses. Why did he let me go, she wondered, remembering the day she met the prince. If only Adilasai hadn't killed her father. Suddenly someone knocked on the door. The maiden exhaled slowly, and she ordered the one who knocked to enter. How are you feeling? He asked, holding the treats in his hand. Uncle Lou said that you took a great risk in saving me, the maiden blurted out. You helped me so much that I could not stay away, the prince said to this. Rest and recuperate, the young man advised her. When I arrived there, the prince was already gone. You know who he is, the young man clarified. Perhaps it was Shuiting, I don't know. At that moment I experienced something strange, the maiden said. It's no wonder then that the association took him on, he blurted out. Don't run, just stand there, that's not proper behavior, was heard in the corridor. It was Xiao's voice, and then the young man said that he would step away for a while. Oddly enough, there was no one in the corridor. Someone flashed past the guy. It was a wounded cat. He was furious and hissed at the prince. Dai Huang, you need to change your clothes, Xiao said. And why are you running around here like this? She asked. Sweet little kitten, do you like the costume? Asked the sister. What a strange name, thought the young man. Besides, this cat was a player. The prince noticed his gaze on himself. Xiao, wait here. We need to talk to the cat, the brother said. How could he possibly talk to him? He's an animal, the maiden wondered. They've arrived, the prince blurted out as soon as they found themselves on the street. You can relax. I'm not here to take revenge on you. I found out what my subordinate did. He deserved it, said the cat. And what about your appearance? Asked the young man. I was forced to take this form in order to hide, the animal replied. Luckily your sister saved me, he added. You have all these interesting hobbies, the guy blurted out, playing with the cat. I'm just looking for freedom and unity with nature, the reincarnated one replied. And who forced you to do this? The young man clarified. The bastard Li Yu turned out to be no better than the others. He had good skills, but lacked combat experience. Do you want to join forces against him? Asked the cat. Are you serious? I'm just an ordinary unawakened player, the prince blurted out. Don't you trust me? Asked the cat. That's right, I don't trust you, the black-haired man replied. The best solution would be to kill the cat right now. If I were your enemy, you would have been surrounded by these people long ago, the animal said. That's right, Adilasai, the cat suddenly added. How did you guess? The young man wondered. By smell, the animal answered. Meanwhile, a council was being created in the city. Dear attendees, I learned the details from my sister, the maiden reported. Since the chairman had not yet returned from the dungeon, she had to take control of the government. Fujiwara had already summoned 2 strong players to help track down Shuiting. They will be of no use, since it was they who organized the surveillance of Adilasai's dungeon. It would be better to go to the northern borders and ask Yakovsky for help. The Guardian would never have thought that someone important would count crows at a crucial moment, causing the awakened wounded player to disappear in an unknown direction. I'm sorry, it's my fault, the warrior said quietly. Only the most stupid of us could do this, another intervened. Nobody asked your opinion. The guilty one was indignant. Trash doesn't sound very good. Mentally retarded is better. Another of the warriors joined in. Now is not the time for showdowns, the guard flared up. Everyone be quiet, he added. According to the auctioneer, the dungeon appeared on its own and disappeared without a trace, and it was somehow connected to Adilasai. One of the members of this committee reported that anyone who found a burial ground would have to report it to her, so that she could use the ability to preserve the one. Meanwhile, the young man continued walking with the cat. Don't worry, I won't use the information I received against you, the animal assured. Moreover, in my current form, I am not your opponent either, he added. Okay, I believe you. A little later I'll buy you some mint. Then on the way, the young man met his sister. Then he grabbed the cat by the scruff of the neck. We talked, you can take it, the guy said. Brother, don't worry. I'll do everything to buy him the best, said the maiden. She also said that she would take the cat to the best hospital for sterilization. "This can wait for now," the young man said. Suddenly he received a message on his phone. He was taken aback when he saw the incoming message. Anyone who discovers the burial site should report it to the association for a generous reward. Did they really realize that I was connected to him? The guy thought. "Xiao, I have some things to do. I have to go," the guy said. "Brother, Da Huan ruined your jacket. It would be nice to change it," the girl said. Indeed, the prince's clothes were torn. The young man, while walking, found his portal. Already found, he thought. But no one has yet reported anything to the association. Their levels were about 50, and dealing with them was problematic. "Brothers, this is the very place that interests the association," said one of the guys. It was necessary to tell about him as soon as possible. "Wait, don't you think it's rare if it's so important to the association?" asked one of the warriors. "Let's go there quickly. There are jewels and treasures there," he suggested. "Brother, come with us and we'll share with you," he suggested to the young man. "This is a level 34 player. Why are you bothering with him?" The maiden was indignant. In fact, they wanted to use the prince as a human shield. "Of course, if you go there, you will definitely get more than what the association offers," the young man replied. When asked what level you were, the guys answered that you were level 50. "But how are you going to enter a level 25 dungeon?" the guy asked. The leader had a special artifact that allowed him to change his level at will. "What a wonderful thing," exclaimed the young man. The guys decided not to delay and entered the dungeon. "Yes, it's just a piece of cake for you. Thanks for sharing the artifact," the young man said. "What are you talking about?" the warrior wondered. Then the boys were blinded by a bright flash. "Everyone be prepared, it's a monster," the chief blurted out. A dragon maiden blocked their path. The warriors couldn't understand why she was so happy. After all, she looked quite friendly. Then the young man placed his hand on the chief's shoulder. "Of course she is friendly because she came to meet me," the guy answered. Then, without ceremony, he attacked with fire the bastard who wanted to use him as a shield. The other warriors were taken aback by this. "How dare you attack your own!" the girl shouted. The dragon calmly watched the actions of the master. She then intervened, beheading the bastards. The prince's level began to rise rapidly. Thanks to them, he reached 40. The system made it possible to link another dungeon to an account. It was time to change everything radically, because the usual dungeons of his level were simple. The young man encountered a huge, ferocious red ogre. After his death, the system reported a successful passage through the Forbidden Forest. Then the lynx man was defeated by the prince. Afterwards, another dungeon was cleared by him. The young man has been through a lot during this time. Then he went to the Hunters Association. This was still not enough. After all, the dungeons were simple, and the boss's abilities were weak. During this time, he managed to accumulate thousands of Conqueror points. It was time to spend them. Suddenly, someone called out to the young man. "You're the one who retrained as a Death Knight?" the maiden asked. She was level 60, and her name was Zhang. "What do you need?" the young man asked her. She said that she had been observing the prince's exploits for a long time. "Get to the point," the black-haired man barked. The association hid several powerful dungeons and gave access to them to several guilds. The girl was just like that and invited the guy to join her. The dungeon was called Cray Peak and its rarity was epic. "I can't go in there. I'm at 40, the prince answered her. He knew about this place and thought that he was being led by the nose. "Don't be shy. I know you have an artifact that allows you to enter powerful dungeons," Zhang said. The chairman was already waiting for the prince. Then they both went to him. The headquarters of the Halls of Valor was striking in its beauty. They needed the young man for two things. They wanted him to join them and help with the modification of some artifacts. At this time, the chairman came out onto the porch. He greeted the young man. His name was Cruz, and he was level 90. "Your penates don't look modest," the young man said. Then the head of this place introduced himself. There was also an old man there who used to belong to the Holy Dragons. The guy was also introduced to the commander of their expedition group, Black, due to whose strength the guild has practically no losses. Li Yu's former right hand was now just the chairman, which made the young man wary. "The old man will not participate in the upcoming expedition because his level is too high." "Are you sure you want to take a level 40 player with you?" Black asked. "Let him go if he breaks my defense," he suggested. "Don't be stupid, it's impossible," the chief laughed. But the prince was not at all against it, even for it. "He's just provoking you." The girl who brought him here intervened. "If I win, every time you see me, you will kneel down," the Demon King offered Black. "Okay, but it will work in your favor too," the warrior blurted out. "Brother Joe, don't bother." The leader tried to calm him down, but the young man was determined only to win. "Arrogant boy, I will make you kneel," Black said. Then he began to create something bright in his hand. It was a huge eternal shield. "Damn, he actually has this thing," the black-haired man wondered. "Fairy tale armor of the highest rank." All the guild members came out to see it. "If the commander summoned this armor, then what kind of enemy does he have?" the warriors whispered. The chief was a little concerned about the current situation. The little fox wanted to hurt the adult fox, and this is how the grandfather reacted. If it weren't for the old man's recommendation, The chief would never have allowed the young man to join their clan, so now it was possible to find out whether it would live up to expectations or not. The warrior in armor continued to boast about his artifacts. At first I was even a little scared, but it turns out it was just a defective toy, the young man said. The soul stone had long since disappeared, meaning that this shield was now nothing more than a dull piece of iron. Therefore, there was no time to waste. I should have enough strength to deal with him. Let's check how strong this bastard is, the young man thought during his attack. He delivered a powerful blow with his fist. Then something caught his attention. He deftly jumped away from the shield bearer. "Ha, are you seriously trying to fight my unrivaled armor with your fists? You really are an idiot," Black laughed. "Don't rush to conclusions. You might regret it very soon," the young man advised. "After all, with a defective shield, one blade was enough. He wants to break our commander's armor with some kind of sword. He's definitely not right in the head. It's simply unbelievable. Such confidence." The warriors laughed. So arrogant the maiden was surprised. "Just watch what happens next," the old man ordered the leader. "Everyone is good at bluffing. Better show your real skills," Black ordered. Then the young man took out the beast's blood and took a few sips. Within 3 minutes, his stats increased. "He will still be useful to me in the future," said the prince. Then, taking his blade more comfortably. Thus began the second round of this battle. A frightening red energy began to emanate from the young man. Black felt uneasy about what he saw. The young man, meanwhile, had already come very close to the shield. The next blow caused a stunning explosion. The observers were stunned. "He has a god card. What other abilities does he hide, and where does such power come from?" "It seems that the relationship with the Miyamoto family has borne fruit," the head said. "So much effort, and in the end you're left with nothing," Black laughed. "Get on your knees, little dog," he said. To which the young man replied that he should not yell. Then, coming closer, he touched the shield. It was all cracked from the last attack. A second later the artifact fell apart. Then the braggart fell to his knees. He couldn't believe that he had lost. "This is cheating. You used doping and skills that were not yours," people shouted. "It was vile. He deceived the commander," was heard from the crowd. "I don't think that using any means to improve one's powers is cheating. The Eternal Shield wasn't even created by players. So wouldn't using artifacts made by monsters be considered an even bigger violation of the rules?" the young man retorted. "Aren't you ready to accept defeat?" the prince added. Their faces frowned at this. "It's just as he said. It's not considered a violation of the rules at all. Black really did lose in this battle," the leader said. The observers could do nothing to counter the commander's words. "If you like to argue, you must also be able to pay. Now you must fulfill your promise," the chief ordered. "Dog," Black thought. Just one sound, but he couldn't pronounce it. Then he looked at his people. "Don't look at me like that. It's no use," he thought. "Get up," Black suddenly heard. "Who in their right mind would want to hear something like that from you? Just give me something and we'll call it even," the young man suggested. "Ask for whatever you want, brother," the warrior cried out joyfully. "You lost, so how about the next deal? You give me your divine protection, and thus your pride remains with you," the young man suggested. The warrior, hugging the young man, blurted out that he was such a good man, because this shield was damaged forever. It could not be restored in any way. It had turned into useless trash. Teams led by Black returned in full force without losses, although he was a bit reckless. But this fact proved that he would make a good toolman. In this way, he also gained respect from other players, and his reputation will soon grow significantly, killing, as they say, 2 birds with 1 stone. Luckily, this guy didn't know anything about it, so he managed to get the shield legally. When Adelisai finds the soul stone, the shield will be restored on its own. "So, how do you like the recommended player?" asked the grandfather. "And your friend has a keen eye," the leader replied. This guy was a real monster. Meanwhile, something was happening in Liyu's mansion. He scolded the awakened one for giving away the valuable dungeon. It wasn't difficult. They themselves wanted to try to pass the most valuable treasure of the association. "I simply allowed them to get what they wanted so much," the maiden said. "I challenged Crace Peak as soon as I woke up. This dungeon ultimately turned my life into a nightmare. There are such creatures that are best left undisturbed. Their squad will soon be destroyed," Liyu declared. "Why are you so angry?" asked the maiden. "It was all because of Cruz's wife's ambition that she took Rain away without Liu Yi's permission, so some disputes arose. She shouldn't have taken something that didn't belong to her, because that could lead to punishment." Meanwhile, the guys went to the peak. The leader was about to remove the seal from the dungeon. 2 huge white and beautiful columns appeared before them. It was sealed by the association so that the creatures that lived there would not escape into the human world and threaten their safety. "Was it really always sealed, and how did the dungeon appear in the first place?" the young man asked. "It was formed about 12 years ago. The first expedition failed, and then the association hid and sealed it. In the timeline, this was the same time that the Snow Elf clan disappeared. Purple gates opened in front of the team. The leader began to shout that the seal had been removed and wished everyone good luck. Once inside, the boys found themselves in a winter forest. The cold was unreal in this place. Meanwhile, all the beauty of this place stretched out before them. It seemed that this happened thanks to the dungeon, the young man thought. He still remembered how everything in his world seemed to evaporate for unknown reasons. "Be careful. This is a very difficult dungeon," the leader said. The task stated that first it was necessary to climb to the top. "Chairman, under your leadership we'll get through it in no time," Black intervened. Suddenly sounds began to come from the forest. They greatly alarmed the chief. At that very second, a 1,000-year-old level 70 gibbon appeared in front of the boys. Black immediately used his defense. Then the creature attacked them. But the squire's armor was stronger. "As long as I'm here, monsters of this level are nothing," Black yelled. The maiden who brought the young man to this guild began to use magic. Spikes appeared from the ground, preventing the monster from moving further. The guild warriors then rushed into the attack. A second later the orc was destroyed, cut in half. A level 70 monster was no match for them. "Don't stand still, dodge," the young man suddenly shouted. Frost spears appeared in the sky. One of these pierced the warrior's head and the chest of another. Suddenly someone intercepted a similar projectile. It was the boss who saved the life of his subordinate. Black did not understand where the attack came from. "It came from the top of the mountain," the young man intervened. "Impressive shooting skills. It looks like they were snow elves." "How is this possible?" the squire wondered. He figured it out before me. Incredible insight," thought the leader. Then he destroyed the projectile with his hand. "Black, why isn't the barrier activated?" The head was indignant. "My fault. I thought the battle was over," the squire replied. "Be careful and don't miss anything," the head said. "Everything is clear, Chairman," the warriors repeated. He had a bad feeling about their journey. Someone was watching them from the top of the mountain. These were precisely the snow elves. "We will play with you," said the maiden. Meanwhile, the boys continued walking through the forest. "Have you met snow monkeys before?" the chairman asked the young man. "Their natural habitat is the mountains, so it's strange that they left them." It looked like they were running away from something. The area at the foot of Christ Peak was under the control of cannibal ogres, and there was nothing here to indicate their presence. The snow elves were in charge of everything on the mountain. Their settlement should have been ahead, but it was so quiet around that it was frightening. "Be careful, there's a monster village ahead," Black shouted. And so it was. The boys reached the settlement, which was covered with snow. It was so quiet. Could they all have hidden? The girl suggested. Perhaps it had been abandoned, the young man suggested. The entrance was buried under a thick layer of snow, as if it had not been used for a very long time. If this is so, then what could be hidden there? The head reasoned. It was time to return this place to its original appearance. Afterwards, he began to create lightning in his hand. A moment later, he brought them down on mountains of snow. The whole square was electrified. "Oh my God, that's it," Black thought. After the snow cleared, a mountain of corpses appeared before the boys. The dead were from the Snow Elf clan. Most of them had lacerations, perhaps caused by wild animals. The young man did not understand how it could happen that the great elves could lose to the mountains or the beasts. Someone was watching the boys from the bushes at this time. Darkness was approaching the maiden who had brought the prince to this guild. A huge monster appeared behind her, but some people managed to react. It was Black. He saved the girl. "I won't repeat my mistake again," he blurted out. The remaining predators, magnificent ogres, appeared before the boys. There were only 5 of them, so the chances of winning were high. Both magicians and warriors moved into battle. The chief had no intention of participating. He had other duties. He was here to ensure safety. "Unlike them, you are indifferent to gaining experience," the head addressed the young man. "I'm more worried about my own skin," said the prince. He decided to pretend to be the stupidest, the head clarified. Then the guy walked up to the monster's corpse. It was strange, so many scars, he thought. Could it be that the collars were holding them captive? The Demon King wondered. Meanwhile, the last monster remained. One of the warriors ran straight towards victory or death. He made a powerful lunge and swung. Then his face changed dramatically. After all, someone destroyed the creature for him. A blindfolded elf maiden appeared on the battlefield. Another one. "Where did you even come from?" the warrior wondered. At this time, the snow elf began to reach for the weapon. "No need retreat," the leader intervened. Someone's hand appeared behind the warrior's back. It was Black. He used the barrier. Virgo also decided to take action. She broke through the defense without any problems. And then she killed that upstart. "It can't be. My defense is useless," Black thought. Then she hurried to sheathe the weapon. The young man, looking at her, reasoned. He needed to recruit her into the team. Then the leader entered the battle. He told his men not to interfere, as they were not her adversaries. Having completely electrified your body, he hastened to carry out the attack. But the maiden was alive and stood motionless. She dodged the chairman's attack so easily, that can't be true, Black thought. And how did she manage to do this? The head was indignant. Then he tried to attack the girl again. Afterwards, he made a massive jump upwards, tried to attack her from the air, his face filled with anger. He unleashed all his strength and power on the enemy. Then, jumping back, he began to look at the consequences. This attack didn't take the girl either. He didn't understand what techniques she used to dodge. But the chairman will not allow this to happen again. No, she didn't dodge Cruz's attack, the young man thought. The leader did not hesitate and used a thunderstorm on his opponent. "Destroy!" he shouted as he attacked. The electric spikes almost touched the maiden's face. Claps of thunder echoed throughout the valley. "Let's move on," said the leader after his attack. "Chairman," Black said suddenly. "Why did the focus of my attack shift to them?" Cruz wondered. Then the maiden appeared behind him. The sharp end of her blade almost touched the chairman's face, but he managed to dodge afterwards. No, the maiden still managed to wound him a little. "What kind of tricks is she using?" The chief was indignant. "If this is an elite squad, it is a pathetic sight," the young man said. "You can't even understand obvious things," he added. "She didn't dodge the attacks at all. It was only the chairman's attacks that didn't work on her. If you keep a long distance, everything will work out. At close range, the maiden could get into the enemy's head and shift the trajectory of the attack." The leader jumped back and used the divine punishment technique. A huge bolt of lightning struck the elf. This time the chairman managed to wound the enemy. But despite this, she still smirked. "Now finish her off," the prince screamed. "No need to hurt Aki," the elf said as she began to freeze the guild member. The girl became scared, because the ice was spreading across her face at incredible speed. "Don't you dare touch my subordinates!" the leader yelled. Then he charged the dagger with his power, and tried to attack the elf. Selena, the one with different colored eyes. "I wonder when she became so strong," the young man wondered. "Run ahead, leave her to me," the chief ordered. "Don't even dream about it," Selena screamed. Suddenly a deafening sound was heard in the mountains. Meanwhile, the fight between Selena and Cruz continued. Meanwhile, the boy's attention was drawn to something new. A bright turquoise flame appeared. "I will go forward," the young man declared. He grabbed the handle of his motorcycle, and he moved forward, leaving the rest behind. It began to pick up speed at an incredible rate. Finally got rid of them, he thought. Now they were given complete freedom. At this time, the guy began to overcome the thickness of the ice. Then he decided to stop. "This is the top of the mountain, where the inexhaustible glacier is," he thought. After destroying the glacier, it was possible to challenge the boss. Then it began to dawn on the guy. He looked closely at the ice. Afterwards, having gathered my strength, he hit the ice with all his might. It began to crack from such an attack. Then the guy decided to use a fireball. Thanks to him, things went much better. The young man then jumped down. There he saw an ice pedestal. Someone was chained at the top. "Well, of course, who else could be sealed here?" the young man said. "If he manages to defeat the boss and clear the dungeon, then with the accumulated points he will be able to easily control it." The chained man moved his hand a little. One of the chains broke because of this. Afterwards, the level 90th Snow Mountain King screamed in rage, and he looked at the one who had disturbed him. The boss's massive fist almost touched the young man's face. The blow sent him flying back, but he managed to maintain his balance in flight. So many years have passed, but nothing has really changed, so the young man had to give it his all, after which he used the art of explosive blood, instantly leaving the place where he stood. I hurried to use the blood mark on the boss. The king of the Snow Mountain even recoiled from such a blow. Then, grabbing a piece of ice, created a powerful technique. Thanks to her, the young man found himself chained in an icy prison. But this did not last long. The ice began to crack. In a moment, the power of blood overcame the blue magic. "It hurts. You are not the same player as before." "How long have I been sealed?" the boss asked. "Christ, what did they do to your village?" the prince asked. "It's none of your business. You don't deserve to call me by my name," the boss said. "Despicable slave. The fact that I call you by your name is the highest of rewards," the young man blurted out. Then he began to summon the weapon with his hand. "Open your eyes wider, and you will understand who is standing in front of you," the young man blurted out. "Where did you get this blade?" Christ was taken aback. "Kneel before your king," the prince ordered. On his knees, he then shouted, "Mr. Adilisai, but why do you look like this?" the boss wondered. "I want to ask you for a favor," the young man said. Then, plunging the sword into the boss's heart, the guy said that the thug needed to die. Thus the boss was finished. "Don't worry, as soon as I complete the dungeon I will definitely revive you," the young man said. Meanwhile, events are transferred 12 years back. Mountains of monsters were killed in these places. "A gathering of aggressive cattle," Adilisai said, destroying them. They got into it themselves, because they considered him easy prey. Then someone appeared behind him. The prince immediately noticed him. There he noticed a snow elf who had eyes of different colors. Then the young man went to the nearest village. There, over a mug of ale, Christ thanked Adilisai for his help. "What about that girl? The color of her eyes is different from yours," the young man asked. "She was a half-breed, the result of mixing the blood of an elf and an ogre." Several years ago, her mother was captured by ogres and she appeared. The elf parents forbade their children to communicate with her. After birth, the ogres used her mother as a slave. She was lucky that she met the prince. She still didn't have a name, so the demon king could give her one. Then Selena, said the prince. Meanwhile, Christ lay dead. The young man was interested in what happened to the village after he left. The old man was busy with business and did not pay her due attention. The villagers hated her, and the darkness in her heart grew. Afterwards, unable to bear this, she used her strength to destroy the village. The system congratulated the young man on receiving the legendary soul. Then the prince wondered whether to help her or not, whether she would listen to him or not, because he was not strong in dialogues. The fight between the guild leader and Selena is not over yet. The maiden decided to help the chairman by using the spiked prison. Vine rushed to grab Selena's body. She, thanks to her powers, began to freeze the plant. Then, with a deft movement of her hands, she managed to free herself. Leave quickly, it's very dangerous here, the leader shouted. We understand that, but we can't let you risk your lives, Black said. She attacked the gunsmith's mighty shield. In the blink of an eye, he became frozen. Her face changed and became terrifying. Black was frightened by what he saw. The leader decided not to waste time and went on the attack. The distance between him and Selena was rapidly decreasing. Chairman, the girl said plaintively, and his commands. Then, wiping the blood from his face, she thanked them for the treat she received. The chairman was shocked by what he saw. Then he noticed that his comrade's head was missing. After this, going into a rage mode, he once again ordered his people to run away from here as quickly as possible. He added that he would not repeat it again. Forward, you heard the order? The maiden intervened. Then she saw a bright flash in front of her face. Then lightning flashed in front of her. The guild leader came to her aid. It was Black's move. Could they really use the skills of the absorbed players? The leader thought. She had to be stopped right now. Otherwise, the elf could become a threat to the whole society in the future. We were missing a second Adilasai, said the leader. He hastened to strengthen his skill, the fury of thunder and lightning. He then drank a potion that allowed the unawakened player to use the awakened player's skill once. The elf looked at his opponent in surprise. She saw thunderclaps in the sky in front of her. Awakening skill of the highest order, crushing thunder. That hour she was attacked by the leader. Then after such a blow, smoke appeared on the battlefield. For killing the monster, the chairman received 50,000 experience. Murder notice, I got it, he thought. But then I felt that something was wrong. The maiden was also alive. Then who did I kill, since there isn't a single scratch on her? The leader wondered. There was another copy lying next to the elf. I completely forgot about her because she was directing my attack at herself, the leader thought. Aki, said the maiden with different eyes. The dead girl protected the mudblood as a child. The blood of ogres flowed through her body. Monsters like her didn't deserve to live, the hooligan boys said. And those who protect the monsters should have been dead too. But the only friend of the dirty blood didn't care about this. She was still laughing after that. The hooligans shouted after her. You really got it. Why are you laughing? The one with different eyes wondered. The protective maiden was blind since childhood, and therefore was also subjected to persecution. If you start smiling, the beatings you get won't hurt as much, the joyful maiden said. Fool, you can't solve the problem with a smile, the dirty blood said. Don't worry, I'll eat them all, she added. Then I used the icing technique. The head was immediately chained in a frosty prison. Not only him, but also the trees around him. It looks like this is the end for me, the chairman blurted out. Li Yu, I'm sure it was his initiative to send me here, Cruz thought. The maiden did not waste time and began to come closer. Doesn't it surprise you that you're not completely frozen solid? She asked. Aki burned because of you, and we are one, the elf added. The boss ruined all the fun, and it was time to pay for it. She said that she would eat her opponent very slowly. As she spoke, a fireball flew towards her. Two elements collided with each other. Someone else asked the maiden in surprise. I can move again, thought the chairman. The young man came closer to them, and he said that it had become a bit hot here, and it was time to turn on the air conditioning. What are you doing? Run away from here, the prince ordered the chairman. You don't have enough strength to stop her, the leader yelled. Who knows, maybe my sacrifice will help, the young man blurted out. His plan was actually worth it. The young man was determined, which confused Cruz. Who would have thought that you would be a real hero, the leader blurted out. Enough already, run from here, how much longer do we have to wait, the young man shouted. I will never forget this, and will tell everyone about your feat, the chairman said as he left. Don't even try, let me eat you, the elf screamed. The sharp thorns almost reached the head, but the young man covered Cruz with his body. I admire you, Zhou Qing, the leader said. And this amulet is really good. Her attack didn't do any damage to me, the young man blurted out. What is wrong with him? Why is he not susceptible to my attacks? The maiden wondered. The young man, however, was serious. Ha, just wonderful, he said, laughing. Human. It seems that you are even more insane than I am, said the elf. I just thought of something, the guy blurted out. Everything here will be mine, he said. This could not but please. If my physical attacks don't work, then I'll rely on physical strength, the maiden blurted out. The prince managed to dodge the blade flying at him. Then the battle maiden appeared behind him. The young man decided not to hesitate and used blood magic. Then the dragon maiden and the vampires came to his aid. After such a combo, an explosion occurred on the battlefield. The elf was unhappy with the situation and attacked with her thorns. Even two of the strongest allies couldn't cope with her. The difference in strength was too great. So it was time for the young man to pull off some trick. Master, run, we will stall for time, the dragon said. They're right, run with your tail between your legs, the elf shouted. I'll have to teach you some manners, the young man declared. He then began to create blue magic in his hand. He activated the call of the dead. Scream as much as you want, the guy told her. Those who mocked her rose from the dead. Remembering these horrors, the maiden screamed. The young man then used an elemental blast. Get out of here, the dirty blood screamed. No, I was expecting this, the young man answered her. He created a fireball in his hand to finish quickly, and created a semblance of an atomic strike on the battlefield. Then a portal opened at the entrance to this place. The level 40 player sacrificed himself, the leader lamented. Oh, Cruz, you're alive, the muscular warrior blurted out. As soon as he learned that his comrade had gone here, he hurried to this place. Li Yu, Cruz hissed hatefully. You are so pathetic. But despite this, you managed to survive. The awakened one was perplexed. What about your teammates, the chairman asked. Of course, she dealt with them. Of course, how could I forget about something important? The head was taken aback. Meanwhile, a crater formed on the battlefield. The maiden was alive. It's impossible. How did she manage to control my fire? The young man wondered. Then the elf looked at his opponent with hatred, and she hastened to use the death ray on the enemy. This dark magic was rapidly directed towards the young man. Then a massive explosion occurred, but the young man was alive after such an attack. You dared to look down on me. That's my real trump card, the girl said. After using the elemental blast, the young man was unable to use his techniques for several minutes. You won't resist anymore, asked the maiden. Then the boy took out his sword, Adilasaya. I'm afraid you won't know what I taste like, the young man said. The girl felt uneasy when she saw the artifact. It seems that you still remember me, the prince suggested. Of course, the maiden replied to this. Don't worry. After the murder, I'll bring you back to life, the young man assured her. I'm not afraid, the maiden answered him. Then why are you shaking? Asked the prince. The thought that they would never be separated again delighted her. Deciding not to delay, she attacked, but the guy easily repelled her attack with his sword. I won't let you go again, she said. You're definitely crazy, the guy replied to her. Then the young man began to charge himself with the energy of Adilasaya. We just need to get this over with, the prince added. We suffered heavy losses but achieved nothing of value, Li Yu said. Then something caught his attention. The aura was weak, but there was no doubt. This is the only artifact that gives you the right to enter the dungeon. This bastard. Don't think I don't know about the reward on Adilasai's head, thought the muscular warrior. The reward will be mine, he said, and entered the dungeon. Damn, I won't get there without Joe's help, the chairman thought. Suddenly the cat girl overtook him. The portal has already begun to close little by little. Cruz wondered who this was. The fight between the youth and the snow elf continued. Suddenly she felt someone's presence. She had no choice but to jump away from her opponent. Then her body was struck by red magic. Someone dared to interfere in their fight. Adilasai was interested to look at the scoundrel. The young man was very surprised when he saw the stranger. A huge dragon appeared on the battlefield. He growled the name of the Prince of Darkness, Adilasai. I will be the first to kill you, Liu Yi blurted out while standing on the dragon. What a surprise. A dungeon of this level could be hacked. The prince was faced with an even greater problem than the maiden with different colored eyes. At this time, the system informed the guy that the dungeon had been completed and offered to link the existing data. This dungeon once greatly upset Li Yu, but now he had a magical artifact. Meanwhile, the young man pressed the accept button. The awakened one wondered why he had not received a reward for the murder. Here, idiot, the guy shouted at him. No, it's impossible. I should have taken the prize, not you, the bastard was indignant. Do you want to know why? Asked the young man. Because in his dungeon there will be his rules, and everything will be different. At this time, the dragon came under attack from the air. Data reset, the young man said. Li Yu covered his face so that the falling rays would not hurt him. What is he doing? The awakened one thought about the enemy's actions. Then what he saw struck him. The young man was no longer alone. Fallen elves appeared on his team. Kill! Adilasai shouted the command. His loyal new allies rushed to carry out the order. They attacked the creature, each acting to the best of their ability. Idiot, attack quickly, Liu Yi ordered his pet. A viscous liquid began to appear in the dragon's mouth. It was accumulated magma, and the dragon hastened to unleash it on the elves. But among the long-eared ones, there was one who managed to protect the others with an ice barrier. This was the boss of the winter location, Old Man Kreis. Meanwhile, the dragon continued to be under attack by yetis and ordinary snow elves. Li Yu had a different fate in store for her. A battle with two girls, one who was blind and one who had different colored eyes. A pile of incompetent trash, the awakened one screamed at the top of his voice. In order to get rid of the attacking warriors, the dragon used its wing. The young man, meanwhile, decided to join the maidens in the battle. Li Yu was also no pushover and created a fiery spear in his hand. But he was unable to attack. A shudder ran through his body. It was the virgins who tried to use false atonement. As a rule, this technique leaves the enemy confused for a minute. The body of the defeated man was pierced by 2 guns. "They killed him," the dirty blood asked joyfully. "No, there was no notification," Adilisai replied. "That was a little painful, you bastards," Li Yu intervened. His aura changed color and became more aggressive. The boys were unable to cope with it and flew back. Fortunately, all 3 managed to land safely. "Did our attack really not harm him at all?" asked the girl with different colored eyes. "Liu Yi, don't even think about playing with us. Tell me what level you are," the young man yelled. "Then you defeated us. But we learned from our mistakes," the awakened one answered him. Then he jumped into the dragon's mouth. The pet, sensing the presence of its owner, slammed it shut. And then he began to create a huge red and black ball. In a moment, he began to resemble a funnel that sucked in everything. But she was capable of more than just this. She could also draw souls out of creatures. Everyone stepped back, the dirty blood screamed, and she hastened to attack the enemy with icy, hellish flames. It slowly enveloped the formed ball. The mixing of 2 powerful elements caused an explosion on the battlefield. "It worked," exclaimed the maiden with different colored eyes. "Christ, be careful!" the young man suddenly shouted. But it was too late. The last attack left not a single living spot of the old man. Then all the attention of the remaining warriors was focused on Li Yu. In the meantime, he had received a slight improvement, and now he would not be satisfied with a small brawl. "I have opened access. Now you know the answer to your question," he asked, becoming like the devil. "And you hid your true potential well. It seems that you are no longer a player," the prince reported. "I am not a player in principle, just like you, immortal Prince Atilisai," Li Yu added. "Are you also a reincarnated demon lord?" the young man wondered. "Only now I realize that this form is not familiar to you," the bastard clarified. "The demonic dragon could destroy all living things with a flap of its wings." "Are you really the king of destruction?" the guy wondered. "It can't be. You should have died long ago at the hands of the king of eternity." The maiden with different colored eyes intervened. "Death for us is only the beginning," the demon dragon replied. "Adilisai, today I will finish you," Li Yu threatened. Meanwhile, the cat maiden came to the aid of her master. "You," the young man said in surprise. "Sir, I have finally found you," said the maiden. The bastard's dark energy only grew stronger at this time. "Ha! The first murder! I'll get rid of you first," Liu Yi threatened. "I didn't receive notification of the murder. Why is he alive?" the demon wondered. His previous attack was instantly dispelled, and before him appeared 3 girls and Adilisai. He was able to dispel my destructive flame. How this was possible, Li Yu did not understand. "It seems that luck is on my side," the prince reported. Then a turquoise-black flame appeared in his hand. This greatly surprised the dragon demon. Adilisai's heart. It was impossible to allow the young man to do anything to it. The cat's face changed completely. Thanks to her powers, she ascended into the sky. Her body was filled with electrical energy. Then the body transformed into a different form, into the form of a tiger. But this did not last long. Her body was pierced by a large amount of purple rays. Then a huge explosion occurred on the battlefield. The defeated girl's body returned to its original form, and she began to fall down. Luckily, someone was ready to help her by holding out their hands. It was Prince Adilisai. This behavior towards his friends was unacceptable. "Don't think that your strength will help you defeat me," the demon screamed. "I'm not the same person I used to be," he added. "Just wait a little. I can't resurrect you yet," the young man told the defeated maiden. Then an opponent appeared behind the prince. Luckily, the guy quickly noticed this, and with all his might he attacked the bastard with his bare hands. The enemy was thrown far back by such a blow. The demon pierced the mountain with his body. "It hurts. He has become much stronger," Li Yu thought. Adilisai decided not to waste time and moved towards the enemy. The demon, realizing the situation he was in, hastened to attack with his signature flame. A barrier appeared in front of the young man. "Your strength is simply amazing," the bastard blurted out. But he could still compete with his opponent. "In that case, I'll stop with these childish games," the young man declared. Now he will use all his powers. An abundance of turquoise-black flames appeared in front of the bastards. His face changed from what he saw. "Just don't die too quickly," the young man ordered. It seemed like the end was upon me. A thought crossed Li Yu's mind. He couldn't think of anything better to do than to start escaping from the battlefield. Now he would have to ask Zhang Hao for help, something he didn't particularly want to do. Activating the Demon King's special skill, Adilisai blurted out. Mortal shock. The enemy is frozen. All of their skills and abilities are unavailable for 5 seconds. The bastard's entire body instantly became stiff. Damn, I can't move, he thought. At this time, Adilasai was about to use another skill. Let's work together to defeat Zhang Hao, the bastard begged. But the Demon King didn't care about these proposals. He used soul theft. He armed himself with the magic sickle more comfortably, and dealt a critical blow to the demon dragon. The attack that was carried out was astounding. After all, the young man left behind a huge, long hole in the ground. Then his strength began to gradually fade. The system reported the murder of a reincarnated player, and the young man immediately received level 70 for this. Who would have thought that I would get so much for this guy? The guy said. They unlocked the highest level missions, and the rebirth mission was also successfully launched. If this continues, he won't be able to hide his identity for long. Sir, there will be more assignments, the girls clarified. Mona, where is my original dungeon? Asked the young man. I'm very sorry, I can't explain, but I can take you there, the cat blurted out. Come on, but don't reveal your identity until I tell you to, said the young man. Then the cat began to transform, and transformed into the form of an animal. Selena, after I leave, I will allow the association to temporarily seal the dungeon, so stay here and wait, the prince ordered. Meanwhile, the portal to the winter location was opened. You say Liu Yi went there alone? Asked the grandfather in the wheelchair. I don't know what his goals were, but he was very excited, Cruz replied. Things are bad. This monster has swallowed Liu Yi, the young man who appeared said. How is this possible? Cruz wondered. I will inform the association immediately, he hastened to say. No need, the old man suddenly intervened. Did you kill him? The old man asked the boy. Are you kidding me? You think I'm capable of such a thing? It's better to seal this place, the prince replied. This excuse sounds unreliable. If you have already decided to do something, then you need to do it flawlessly. What to do next will be decided by my friend, the old man said. Your friend, the young man was surprised. Someone's shadow appeared behind the guy. The cat that belonged to the guy sensed something was wrong. The awakened maiden immediately appeared. How rude. Is it really that hard to make your pets behave well? She clarified. If you can't do it, the maiden said, making a dash. Then let me teach her a lesson, she finished, holding the blade to the cat's throat. Don't even dare, she's my person, the young man ordered her. Calm down, I was just joking, the awakened one said. You seem to have become much stronger, she noted. How about we test it, the maiden suggested. The young man's face suddenly changed and became very serious. Enough. Now is not the time for internal squabbles, the old man intervened. Jun, these are your words, so take them more seriously, he added. I was just joking, don't take my words seriously, the awakened one repeated. First of all, she wanted to make sure that everyone was eager for the death of 2 people, Zhang Hao and Li Jiyu. The boys looked at her in bewilderment after such a statement. I'll take silence as consent, the maiden blurted out. I told you to come to me early, so let's cooperate. She turned to the young man. But the prince did not understand her purpose or why he should believe her. No, none. I'm just giving you this opportunity, the young lady replied. Isn't that what you need, to kill enemies? And that's all, she clarified. Hands off me. Tell me about your plan, the young man insisted. Initially, it involved a long preparation. But after Li Yu's death, everything became much easier. It was impossible to imagine a better opportunity, after there was one less of those guys who helped each other. The goal was to separate these people and get rid of them one by one. The problem is that the death of any one of them will cause energy fluctuations that will be felt by their living comrades. I have a good idea, the young man blurted out. And what did the Demon King come up with? Asked the maiden. As long as one of them is in the dungeon, the others will not be able to notice the fluctuations. But how to get them to go there, Cruz clarified. I'm not sure it will work, but you can use me as bait, the young man replied. That's a good idea, the awakened girl said. She had already called 3 strong players to join them, Pai Huanu, Quan Ba, and there was a third one, a mysterious girl. I can call 2 more awakened ones, the young man said. One of them is from the Miyamoto family, the maiden asked. No, it was about the divine beast and whoever caused the chaos at the auction. That is, the maiden from the Miyamoto family will not help us, the awakened one clarified. She always thought that it was Adilasai who killed her father. But in fact, Zhang Hao was behind it. Then tell her the truth, or are you going to keep hiding it? Asked the awakened one. The guy had his own man hanging around Li Jiyu, so he would be able to report on his movements. Then it will become our first target, the maiden blurted out. Then let us take care of business with the association, since they will be interested in Li Yu's disappearance, Cruz intervened. If there are no more questions, then I will go. You know where to find me, said the prince. Have a good journey, Demon King, the awakened one blurted out as a farewell. It was already night when the young man reached Miyamoto's house. Looking at the main gate, he thought about whether to tell the truth or not. Xiao, let's go to the amusement park tonight, the samurai asked her sister. Suddenly they met the guy after so much time. Brother, the younger one exclaimed, seeing her brother in the hallway. "Nana, I need to talk seriously to you," said the young man. Then the boys went outside. She thought the guy wanted to confess his love to her. He thanked her for her help and said that he could no longer hide it, hoping that the girl would believe him. "In fact, it is me, Adilasai, and I did not kill your father, Zhang Hao, and others did," the young man said. The girl's face changed colors in an instant. "Perhaps I was too straightforward," he thought. "I already figured it out myself, but you confirmed it," the girl blurted out. Nana added that she believes the guy. "Thank you. I would be grateful if you could help us deal with all these bastards," the guy asked. "I will help, but don't get any ideas. I'm only doing this because of my father," Nana said. The prince added that he wanted to start with Li Jiyu, since he had the Demon King's man in his entourage. First, it was necessary to contact him and discuss a plan of action. At this time, the black-haired spearman was walking through the forest. Then he took his phone in his hands and wanted to look at something on it. But before he could, the boss approached him with a question. "So that little devil is Adilasai. This is a great opportunity to get rid of Li Jiyu without getting your hands dirty. What do you say, Aoshan?" he asked his ward. The prince went to the same forest the next day. The young man met with the awakened one and reported that Nana was ready to cooperate. The informant would soon convey the necessary information. "I will be able to create a dark field that will hide him from the outside world for a while," the maiden said. The young man then said that he could handle it. His comrade only needed to deliver the bastard to the dungeon. "That guy is very arrogant and will never realize that this is a trap." "You are glowing with confidence today, by the way. I brought a friend," the awakened one declared. "Come out, don't be shy," she added. The young man was clearly surprised by this meeting. Meanwhile, the head of one of the guilds was talking with his ward. He told her that they had no idea that he had used their plan for his own purposes. And the spearman kept trying to betray him, which made it funny. The leader was going to send those who would go against him straight to Liu Yi. Then there was a movement behind him. The spearman hit the bastard in the face with all his might. Could it be that this puppet was being controlled by someone else? The boss thought. Then someone pulled out a revolver. It was a maiden, the head's assistant. She hastened to fire the gun. The bullet almost reached the boss's head. He had no choice but to defend himself from this attack. Then a funnel-shaped portal opened. The leader and the spearman moved into the forest. At this time, there was a heavy downpour of rain. "That is, my puppet was under the influence of this bullet. The nasty woman has no right to play with me," the head said. The last bullet had the ability to move people to another place. Suddenly a purple portal appeared in front of him. Someone unknown tried to attack him from there. Then the bastard's hand began to be sucked into the portal. A fighter with a golden aura appeared. The warrior attacked the leader in the white suit. The impact was so strong that a lot of dust rose up afterwards. He felt a little ashamed that several people were fighting against one. "You can deal with him yourself. I'm only here at Miss Sun's request," Yamada said. A young man appeared on the battlefield with Nana and the awakened one. According to the information received, Li Jiyu was able to create spirits from corpses, so Adilasai could not thoughtlessly summon his comrades. "There are so many awakened players gathered here. The bastard will be punished," Nana said. "Come out. We don't have time to play hide-and-seek," the young man blurted out, looking at the smoke. "Such a scale. You really think I'm strong," the guild leader said. "It seems that this creature Wang Ao deceived me. Who would have thought that she would cooperate with you?" he added, making his own spirit from the body of the spearman. "Enough chatter. What's wrong with my daughter?" asked Adilasai. "In my worldview, even the wildest dog becomes a gentle puppy after its death," the bastard blurted out. The young man decided not to hesitate and attacked the enemy. He lost his head from just one blow. "Get up, you can't just die," Adilasai ordered. "It hurt," said the bastard, his head beginning to recover a little. The damage he took threw him off balance a bit. Then the prince began to create a spell in his hand in order to attack again. But behind him appeared the spirit of the fallen spearman. But repelling his attack was not particularly difficult. "I won't leave this like this," the prince blurted out. This picture made him a little sad. Fortunately, he wanted to put an end to the suffering of his former comrade, and used the spell on the spearman. "You broke my toy. That's not how things are done," the boss said. The ground of the battlefield began to crack. The rest of the spirits began to emerge from there. "Now we have an equal number of fighters," Li Jiyu said to this. "Father," Nana suddenly said in tears. "Mr. Miyamoto was also part of his collection. And what's more, he was the best among the rest. There were other players there too, either awakened or those who had disappeared under random circumstances." "Excellent. My collection will soon be expanded," said the leader. The warriors clashed with each other in a fierce battle. The first was Adilasai. He chose as his target the one who created all these spirits. He laughed and unleashed all his might on the bastard. The opponent's hand became bony. He himself took the form of a lich, and asked the young man if he remembered him. "Infinite King, so it's you, another reincarnation of the Demon King. You are not worthy to touch my sword with even a finger," Adilasai added. One, the boxer asked in surprise. It's all about the level or strength of the Demon King, one of the warriors clarified. Don't relax, he's not such an easy target, the prince shouted at them. Suddenly, one of the warriors lost his arm. While they were chatting and discussing the youth's strength, they didn't notice how the spirits had gotten closer. It became more and more. The prince cast his gaze in the direction of the screams. They are being reborn, we will not allow them to win. The boxer intervened and began to charge his body with energy. Stop, no, Adilisai shouted at him. The fighter didn't hear him and used his skill to destroy the projectile. All the spirits should have lost after such an attack, because the boxer put absolutely all his strength into it. Suddenly, a huge crater formed inside his chest. Thank you, the Lich thanked him. This state allowed the boss to absorb energy from attacks. It also accelerates regeneration. What is this, the Endless King? The young man clarified. Endless life in loneliness. And also horror, the prince reasoned. Then the bastard used his skill, revenge of evil spirits. Crowds of the dead appeared on the battlefield. You have killed so many people, now feel their revenge, said the Lich. The young man knew them all, because it was he who killed them. There were not only people, but also creatures and even bosses. You can summon as many of your pawns as you want, the prince replied to him. Then he left the place where he stood with incredible speed, and in a couple of moments he deprived the spirits that appeared of their heads. Ha, have you really forgotten, asked the Lich. Among those killed by Adhilasai was someone else, Li Yu. The demon dragon was not so simple and attacked the prince. Damn, could it really be him, Nana wondered. But Li Yu was also defeated, that's all, the young man asked his opponent. Damn it, he couldn't lose that easily. The Lich was indignant. It's very simple, I have become stronger, Adilasai said. You bastard, all you can do is mark time, he added. Ha, then let's rewind time a little, the boss suggested. The prince did not understand what you mean. Resurrect the enemies of Adilasai, the Lich blurted out. Let those he killed in his past life punish him. An ancient evil spirit appeared on the battlefield. It had a terrifying aura that was no longer subject to this world. The young man looked questioningly at this creature. How can you control him? Asked the prince. Then the bastard felt something strange. His body was filled with energy and soon he exploded, but he was alive and moved his bones a little. How is it possible? Why am I not regenerating? He wondered. Don't underestimate my enemies. I fought him at the peak of my powers, and such a creature would not obey you, the young man said. You asked for trouble, now die, the prince blurted out, swinging his sword. Damn, I'm not finished yet, the Lich screamed. The spirit of his daughter appeared before the young man. This is a great opportunity, the manipulator said through a smile. But the prince understood everything and attacked the spirit. What a terrible person. He doesn't even spare his own family, the boss responded. Decided to use her as a human shield, the young man asked. You deserve something worse than death, the boy shouted. Then he attacked the bastard with his bare hands. It is obvious that I have an invulnerable body, thought the prince. Moreover, the flow of enemies showed no sign of ending. There was nothing left to do but continue to live as an enemy. Then all that was left of the enemy was half a body, a head, and an arm. I must be invincible, said the former Lich. You are all a bunch of useless trash, he screamed before his death. Just worthless insects, the bastard added. Then his body was pierced with a sword. You are simply scum that can only hide behind the backs of puppets, the prince replied. No, I can't lose, the bastard kept saying as if he were some kind of madman. You have long since lost. As the Endless King, and with you there was only loneliness, the prince answered him. Nana, the dead father, called his daughter by name. What is a father? The samurai asked in surprise. You've grown so much, the head of the family happily told her. He added that he was very proud of her, and was glad to see her again. You have a lot of new things ahead of you, the maiden heard with tears in her eyes. Then she tried to feel his hands once again as a farewell.